Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto has the Fox and Serpent summoning contract. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Delfim the Black Kitsune and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1 beginning with an unusual teacher and friends. Anahagakure was one of the strongest and most peaceful ninja villages. The sun was shining and someone was running from a huge mob. Naruto was racing through the streets, running like a wild man. Behind him, a mob of both civilian and ninja-like was chasing after him. And by the looks of those weapons they were carrying, their intentions were not good. Now, normally one would ask why these mob was chasing a barely 5-year-old kid like he is the plague. This kid was the Jinchuriki of the nine-tailed fox, Kyuubi no Kitsune, who had attacked Konoha and had resulted in the death of a great part of the village, including the best Hokage or leader that Konoha had ever had, Konoha's Yellow Flash, Minato Namikaze, 4th Hokage. Because of that, some people thought poor Naruto was the demon and decided to take vengeance into their own hands. Now, Naruto was no easy catch. Being repeatedly chased, the kid had an abnormal stamina and speed. He was able to outrun Anbu, which were the village elites. Still, he had bad luck with this mob, which was filled with some Sharingan and Byakugan users. You see, there are two major clans that people love to praise. The Uchihas and the Hyugas. They both were praised for their eye jutsus. Sharingan for the Uchihas and Byakugan for the Hyugas. Byakugan allowed the user to see 180 degrees around himself, even past his own skull. It also allowed him to see far with a precision unmatched. It allowed one to see the chakra passages and the tenketsus. Tenketsus were points in the chakra paths that, if messed with, could make one person get his chakra cut or an augment in that region. Sharingan allowed a person to see chakra pathways, but not the tenketsus. Instead, it allowed a photographic memory. These two characteristics made the Sharingan a copy eye, capable of copying all non-Kage Genkai's techniques to be copied by a Sharingan user. In addition, the higher levels of Sharingan allowed the user to predict the enemy's moves before they happened, making them be one step ahead in battle. Finally, it allowed one to use Shinjutsu just by looking at the enemy's eyes. Making it a terrible technique. So, it was no wonder that Naruto was having trouble running away from these mob. He turned to the right, but no fair. A dead end. The very afraid Naruto turned towards the only way out of that alley to find that the mob had already gotten there. They smiled seeing the poor child look at them in fear. Time to pay for what you did, demon. Naruto stepped back. What did I ever do to you? I don't know what you are talking about. Don't try to fool us, we know that this is all just your acting. You don't trick us, Kyuubi. In the distance, wearing dog mask, was an Anbu that was supposed to watch over Naruto. But he let the mob hit Naruto as they wished. This is for what you did to sensei, monster. The mob began to beat him up. Whether with simple fists or sticks it didn't matter. Then one of them came closer and started to cut Naruto with a kunai. The pain was too much and Naruto fainted from it. Just as they were about to finish with him, half of the mob fell down. In its place stood a single Anbu, wearing a weasel mask. He was looking at the crowd in front of him with an active and fully mature Sharingan. You all are scum. I must eliminate all of you. Even the shinobi in the group didn't stand a chance, as that was one of the most powerful ninja of the village, Itachi Uchiha. He was a prodigy like no other and was already a captain of an Anbu squad. So, in a matter of minutes, they were all dead. Itachi grabbed Naruto and was surprised to see red chakra healing the wounds. Is Kyuubi healing him? But Itachi couldn't think about that now, he had to save Naruto. He was going to go to the hospital, but then remembered that there were people there that had tried to kill him before there. I have to go to Sarutobi, it's Naruto's only hope. In Naruto's mindscape, Naruto woke up to find himself in a sewer-like place. He glanced around, hoping to find something, when he heard a voice. Ha, you are awakened. Come, young Naruto, we have much to talk. Naruto went towards the voice to find a huge cage. He then saw two blood-red eyes looking at him from the other side. Do you know who I am, Naruto? Hey Kyuubi, I? Asked a surprised and frightened Naruto. Yes, and calm down, I'm not going to harm you. I'm the only reason you are still alive anyway. But you destroyed the village. Why would you help me? And why are you on a cage? Where are we anyway? Kyuubi was getting impatient with all his questions. God, do you have to speak that loudly, kid? And stop asking so many questions and maybe I'll answer you. Naruto went silent. Kyuubi sighed. Good, now about your questions. We are in your mind, and before you ask, I'm here because your 4th Hokage put me here. Impossible, he killed you. Kyuubi looked at him. No, idiot. If that was the case you would be dead too. Anyway, he didn't kill me because he was unable to. Instead, he was able to seal me in you. That is why I am here and why I am in this cage. And since I'm sealed in you, I would die if you died. I don't want that yet. Now, on to the other matters. I want to make a deal with you. Wait. What about why you attacked the village? And this proposition of yours, how do I know I can trust you? Odd, not this again. Listen, hear the deal and then you can ask your questions, child. Naruto shut up immediately. Good. Now the thing is, I don't want a weak host. That would be insulting. So I'm offering my teaching so you can become stronger and a summoning contract of the Fox clan. All I ask is when you are strong enough, you kill a certain someone for me, as part of my revenge. Now you can ask questions. Naruto thought for a while. Why do you want me to kill this person? And this seems a lot for me, but little to you, don't you think? Those are good questions, kid. Now listen here, by making you stronger I'm making myself feared, so that is a win-win situation for both of us. Second, that man was the reason why I attacked Konoha anyway. You see, this man is called Madara. He had developed a new level of Sharingan and that made him more powerful than I thought. It gave him the power to control me. He made me attack Konoha. He is the reason I am in this jail. You help me kill him and I'll be forever in your debt. Naruto thought about it and answered deal. Kyuubi then speaks since you are having the opportunity, I'll have you know that foxes have a more natural affinity with fire and wind, though there are some that dominate the kitsune arts. A set of magic powers and techniques that are very deadly. Now you have to wake up, the old monkey wants to speak with you. In the special infirmary, Naruto woke up to find himself in a white room smelling like disinfectant. Hospital. At his side, Sarutobi was sitting in a chair, smiling at him. Good to have you back, Naruto. Weasel was worried. Itachi saved me. I got to thank him for that. Sarutobi was taken a little bit back at this. How did you know that it was Itachi? He is kind to me even after Anbu time. I know the identity of all the Anbu that helped me. There is Itachi, there is Yugao and her team, and there is this guy named Yamaki. Then Sarutobi's eyes narrowed. What about a man named Kakashi? Gray hair defying gravity. Reading smut. Wears a mask even when he is off duty. That guy never helped me before, he helped the mobs catch me faster. Sarutobi's eyes darkened. He does, huh? I'll deal with him later. Naruto, tell me, is there something I should know? Naruto thought to himself if I say I made a deal with Kyuubi then old man will try to do something about it. He answered no, why? Maybe he didn't talk with Kyuubi yet. Let's hope so. Oh nothing, Naruto. The doctors say you should be ready to go. A few minutes later, Naruto was walking through the streets, trying to avoid getting the attention of people. He then turned right in a street to find a couple of kids trying to kill a serpent. The serpent was green, with some patterns on her body. The intriguing thing was, 2 lotus flowers were on her head. I took the look from Kid Viper of the Secrets of the Furious 5. Hey, stop that. Yelled Naruto, getting the serpent away. We are going to kill that snake. Father said snakes are evil. One of them said. Naruto looked at them. This is a serpent, not a snake. Learn the difference. How about we kick your ass, then the serpents? Naruto looked around. There were 7 kids, he had no chance against them. So Naruto grabbed the serpent and ran away. At the forest, he stopped running and looked back. Long gone were those kids. He then put the serpent down. Go away, they can still find you here. The serpent looked at him, then bowed. Thank you for saving me. Naruto jumped in surprise. You talk. Yes, I belong to the serpent summoning clan. I came here looking for some flowers. I always liked the human world's flowers. But those kids tried to kill me. And you saved me. It was nothing, really. Still, I would like to give you something. I know, how about I let you take the trial of the serpent? If you pass, you can get the serpent summoning contract and sign it. But, I'm going to receive a summoning contract already. Can I have 2? The serpent looked at him, a serious expression on her face. Is it the snake contract? No, the fox's. The serpent smiled. Then there is no problem. Just stay there. Then the serpent went into a chanting and symbols appeared on the floor. She then roared summoning jutsu. The 3 judges. There was a puff and smoke filled the place. Then 3 serpents appeared. The first one was red and had green eyes, flame-like dark patterns on his skin. The second one was black with red eyes, toxic symbols and green filled his skin. The last one was green with dark eyes, claw-like marks all over his body. The 3 of them were as tall as a horse and they were as large as Naruto himself. By the order of the serpents we are the 3 judges. The 3 said as one. I'm Rhathamantes, judge of pain, master of the burning fang. Said the first serpent. I'm Aakos, judge of fear, master of the poison of nightmares. Said the second one. And I'm Minos, judge of despair, master of the stare of broken will. Said the last one. It is time for the trial of the serpent. Said the 3 as they looked at Naruto. What do I do now? And what is this trial? Asked poor Naruto, a little afraid. Do not fear, child. All we need is for you to fill this cup. Said the Rhathamantes as the Aakos showed a golden cup on his tail. And fill it with a bit of your blood. Then, we will drink your blood and see your past. We will judge your life and then you are going to trial. Aakos continued. Should you fail one of us? Completed the Minos. You shall face our most prized weapons. If it was Rathamantes, the burning fang which gives you the worst painful experience you will ever feel. If it is Aakos, the poison of nightmares which will turn you into the biggest coward, forced to live in eternal fear. And if it is me, you will face the stare of broken will, forever condemned to live in despair. Are you ready, Naruto? Naruto was about to step back and refuse when he heard a voice in his head. Don't, this is a golden opportunity. Just take a kid. Kyuubi. I didn't know we could talk in my head. You couldn't, I just decided to create the mental link to help you with training and situations like this. Accept it, you will pass for sure. Naruto decided to accept Kyuubi's advice. He then showed his hand and, since he didn't have a knife, he bit himself and the blood fell on the cup. Once it had enough for the test, the three serpents each drank their part. Once they did, their faces were a mask of rage. They then said as one yet again. It is time for the trial. Rathamantes went first. Your pain knows no boundary. Whether physical or psychological, you have suffered in both ends far too much. I deem you worthy. Aakos went next. You have faced a fear that you could not. That fear made you everlasting speed demon, making you stronger. You evolved from your fear. I deem you worthy. Minos went last. Your despair is far too much to describe. I fear that I never saw such life before and yet you keep going sane. I deem you worthy. By the power invested on us, we now give you permission to sign our contract and to ask 3 questions right now. As the three said that, a huge scroll appeared in the floor. Okay, first question, if I want, can I summon you 3 to battle? Rathamantes went first. You may, and we will assist you. Not only are we the 3 judges, our powers and techniques make us a formidable ally. However, you should only call us as last resort. We are not for mundane duties. You have 2 questions left. Naruto thought for a while. If I wished, could a serpent stay here indefinitely? Aakos answered yes, but only one. You would have to talk with the boss of the snakes and ask for that to happen to one serpent. This one would be called your summon guardian, and even if she lost all its chakra, it would remain in this realm unless you say otherwise. This happens with all contracts. You have 1 question left. Naruto then answered, fearfully, I already asked this to that serpent, but can I have more than 1 contract? Minos went last. Yes, but only 2. For that to happen, you would have to sign 1 contract with blood from one hand and the other form blood of the other hand. Then, when summoning, you use the hand which you took the blood from to summon the creature from that contract. We must go now. Farewell, Naruto. And with that, the 3 were gone, leaving Naruto with a huge scroll and an ecstatic little serpent. You did it. You did is. Finally we have a summoner. But you stop cheering and help me sign this. And what is your name, by the way? I was named after another slithering creature. I'm Viper, at your service. Now, to sign this you must write your name and blood from one of the hands and then put a handprint with your blood as well. This is how you sign any contract. Naruto nodded and signed the way he was told. Then he asked Viper, now what? Well, you should summon the boss, but that could be complicated. So I'll do something else. Before Naruto could do anything, Viper began to chant again. New symbols appeared on the floor. She then whispered reverse summoning jutsu. Naruto felt himself being pulled from the ground and felt like he was being taken somewhere else. In the snake's forest, Naruto fell on something soft, which he recognized as grass. He looked up to find himself in the forest. He looked around and a great number of serpents was looking at him, pointing and exclaiming, isn't that our new summoner? Then a huge serpent appeared, the size of it was colossal, think about Orochimaru's 8-headed technique size. He had brown color with blue eyes, he also had a white mustache that fell on his side, Viper's father in the same film as the above. I heard about you, Naruto. I am shitting, boss summon of the serpents. You impressed the judges, which is a hard thing. But I wasn't expecting you this early here. Then Viper went to her father's head and whispered in his ear. The old snake nodded and said, very well, I understand your reasons, Viper, but you made Naruto take a big risk with the trails. I'm glad everything went alright. Naruto turned to the huge serpent. Can I ask something? Of course, child. Can you tell me more about the serpent contract and can you make Viper my summon guardian? Shitting was surprised by the request. Don't you wish another serpent? She is still young. Yes, but that is why I want her, because I want a close friend that may grow up with me as I go. If we do that, we will work better together. Shitting thought about this and nodded. Very well. The serpents are a bit like the snakes in terms of techniques we allow our summoner to have. With the exception of, well, snakes can swallow objects and keep them in their stomachs, we can't. But we do have an advantage. We can use elemental techniques, being our elements earth, water and thunder. Naruto nodded, then he raised himself up. I must go now, time to sign yet another contract. Shitting couldn't resist to ask which contract it is, Naruto. The foxes. Ah, yes. They were old allies of ours. There will be no problem then. Naruto was glad Shitting had said that. With a wave of goodbye, he was back into the normal world. In the human world, he raised himself from the ground as he once again had fell face first on the floor. Okay, Kyuubi, I'm ready. Good, you shall see a scroll appear out of thin air. And as he said that, Naruto saw a huge scroll appear out of thin air. He grabbed it and made the same thing as he did with the last scroll, except with his left hand. He then asked Kyuubi, now, how do I summon? It's easy, just do these hand signs. Kyuubi then showed him the hand signs. Hit the floor with the hand of the creatures you want to invoke and say summoning jutsu as you meet the clan. You get to learn their names, so if you want a specific summon, you can just do the same thing as before, but saying the name of the summon you want in the end. That is it. I thought I had to chant something like Viper did. No, serpents have to do it because they can't do hand signs. For you it's different. Okay, thanks. Naruto then tried summoning jutsu. There was a puff of smoke and a small red fox appeared in Naruto's front. I was expecting something bigger. I wasn't. You are still young, you still need practice. For a beginner you did terrifically well. Thanks. Naruto then turned to the young fox in the floor. Hey, what is your name? Hikari, sir. You must be my father's host. I will follow what you tell me to. Hey Kyuubi. Can't she? Already taken care of, I knew you were going to want her as your summon guardian. Naruto smiled. Thinks we're going to be great from now on. Chapter 2 Itachi left. Old man finds out. A mom is gained. Naruto has passed some rough years of hard training under the guidance of Kyuubi. Every day, he would go home looking like someone had tried to kill him many times in a row. AM had asked him once why he looked like he was a dead man. My teacher is a slave driver. Unfortunately, that reached the wrong ears as there were some people that were listening to the conversation and came to argue with Sarutobi about it. Well, the old man didn't thought much about their whining. The fact that Naruto had a teacher came as a surprise, and although he tried, he never found out who was Naruto's teacher. Not even from Naruto himself, who kept saying I'm my own teacher, old man. Sarutobi went as far as sending Anbu to watch Naruto train. Trustworthy Anbu, of course. However, one of the first lessons of Kyuubi was how to hide your presence by absolute. Naruto learned quickly how to hide his chakra and to hide his scent. He learned how to walk in complete silence and how to turn invisible in the middle of the crowd. He could blend so well, not even the people around knew he was there. Of course, Kyuubi could not teach him many jutsu. The thing is, Kyuubi's jutsus were far too destructive for someone as young as Naruto. Kyuubi ended up teaching only one jutsu to Naruto. Fire style. Fire Fox Jutsu. This jutsu produced a fox made out of fire with one objective. Destroy the enemy. Now, the good thing about the attack is not its power, which depends only on the amount of fire foxes produced. It's in the fact that these fire foxes were smart and would track down the enemy as long as he is not too far away from the caster, because if they were, the fox fires would disappear before they reach their destination. He also learned the fox fighting style, the smart fire fist. A taijutsu that focused on tricking the enemy and using a chakra flare on the hands to increase damage. It was very hard to get the chakra control for it, but Kyuubi helped him with the tree walking exercise. Of course, he also got to know his summons better. Viper and Hikari became close friends and both were glad they had a summoner, trying to teach him everything they could about the summons. Flashback. So could you two tell me more about yourselves? Asked Naruto. What do you want to know? Asked Viper. Hikari had a look of curiosity in her face. Well, how about we make some kind of introduction? Likes, dislike, hobbies and dreams. I go first, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. My likes are you two for being my friends, Kyuubi-sensei, old man, Ichiraku Ramen, Itachi who is a brother to me and the Anbu that actually protect me. My dislikes are one I pervert by the name of Kakashi, because the guy always helped the mobs find me, most of the Uchiha clan except Itachi, because they are a bunch of stuck-up assholes, the Hyuga clan, because they treat their own family like they are filth, the rest of the Anbu and the council, because they are always trying to get me killed. My hobbies are training, pranking, and run from mobs. My dream is to be the Hokage one day, so that I will be respected by all. Viper looked at Naruto in the eyes, then said, in a quiet voice, Naruto, you should quit that dream if those are the reasons. If you seek respect, you must earn it. A position will not give it to you. Work hard and prove everyone is wrong about you. Naruto looked at Viper in shock. Then he smiled at her. Thanks Viper. Maybe you are right, but I'm still going to do it. I am going to be the Hokage, because if I can be it, then I will be proving them all wrong. Viper smiled. Hikari felt a bit left out. So she decided to go next. Okay, my name is Hikari. My likes are Naruto, because you are our summoner, Viper, because she is a good friend, Kyuubi-sama, because he is a symbol of respect for the foxes, beefs and the kitsune arts. My dislikes are dogs, because they don't know their place, carrots, they taste awful, and anyone who threatens foxes. My hobbies are learning the kitsune arts, grooming my fur and make dogs look stupid. My dreams are to be the clan boss one day. Naruto nodded but was curious. What kitsune arts do you know? Well, I only know the mystic arrow and the flame wheel. I am still learning, said Hikari, a little embarrassed. Hey, that is more than the techniques I know. I only know the summoning jutsu. So, how do they work? The mystic arrow is a chakra-made arrow that flies from my mouth towards the opponent. The flame wheel is actually a tricky one because there is no flame, it is actually raw chakra that flows around me as I run to strike an opponent. These are the bases for other moves in the kitsune arts. That is awesome. What about you, Viper? Viper had been hearing the conversation patiently, a thing that was just her image. From the three, she was probably the most patient with someone. Of course, if she gets excited, there is a rollercoaster and you are in for the ride. Well, my name is Viper. I like Naruto, same reason, Hikari, same reason, the serpent style Taijutsu, which I'm learning, my father shitting, because he is my role model, and I want to be like him. My dislikes are snakes, they give us a bad reputation, sake, it's just awful and twists with one's head, and anyone who threatens serpents. My hobbies are learning the three sides of serpent teaching and the history behind the three judges. My dream is to learn the three fields of the serpent and take them to perfection. If I become the clan boss one day, then I will wield the title with honor. Naruto narrowed his eyes. What are the three fields of the serpent? Well, if you take the three judges as an example and their prize techniques, maybe you will get it. Rathamantis as the burning fang, which is his fangs covered in fire and he strikes the person, seeping liquid fire through one's body. That is an ninjutsu and it is the first field of the serpent. The second one is Aakos and the poison of nightmares. I think this one explains itself. Poison. The last one is Minos and the stare of broken will. It is illusion that breaks the will of the victim, so the last field is Jinjutsu. Now a serpent has to know at least one of these fields, but the higher ranks know more the one or have them developed. My father has all of the fields in a mastery level, that is why he is the clan boss. Naruto nodded to this, then smiled. You guys have such cool families. Both Hikari and Viper giggled at his comment. Flashback end. After that, Naruto stepped up his training to become stronger. He wanted to keep up with his two friends, but the lack of jutsu annoyed him a bit. Viper was the solution. Flashback. It was one of those days that Hikari was not there, busy learning the kitsune arts, so Viper was left to watch out for Naruto. She saw how he ran in circles at a speed that was impressive for his age. But she could see something was wrong. He was frowning more than usual. Of course he already did when he talked with Kyuubi on his head, which she thought it was cute. But now, it seemed like there was something bothering him. So she decided to talk with him. She rose up and slithered through the grass towards him. When she reached him, she started to make her way up his right leg to reach his right shoulder. Naruto was so used to it, he didn't even tremble. She looked at him in worry. What is wrong, Naruto? Naruto sighed, he knew he had no chance of lying to the serpent, she was far too smart to fall on his lies. So he decided to tell the truth. Kyuubi said that most of his jutsu are too powerful for me to use. I only learned one. And then there is the fact that you guys are learning cool stuff and I'm not. Viper was in shock. Naruto was jealous of the both. Well sure only foxes could learn the kitsune arts, but that doesn't mean that he couldn't learn from the serpents. Naruto, I think it is time we visit my father again. Chanting later, they were at the serpent's forest. As before, Viper's father appeared again, this time a look of curiosity on his face. Again you come, Naruto. What do you seek from here, boy? Father. Shitting turned to Viper. Our summoner wants to learn the special jutsu of our clan. Shitting was surprised. Does he now? Well, let's not keep our summoner waiting, bring in the scroll of the summoner. 3 serpents appeared with a big scroll on their back. Naruto picked it up and opened it, reading the first move serpent's fighting style. Slithering fist. A bunch of drawings were there, showing the style as the scroll explained it. He also found techniques like the serpent hand which made 4 poisonous serpents appear out of his arms. He looked at Shitting. What is all this? This, my child, are the techniques our summoners can learn. Various techniques in ninjutsu, jinjutsu, taijutsu and even in other fields. But you are too young to learn them all. As he said that, Shitting opened the book in the 4th page, the Snake Eye Jinjutsu, you can learn up to this page, for now. When I decide you are ready for another bit of the scroll, I'll tell you another page limit and you may learn until there. Naruto nodded, glad to learn something more. He started attacking the scroll with a passion, trying to read as much as possible. Flashback end. Naruto learned the fighting style, the serpent hand, the paralyzing fang, which was a taijutsu move that would make one strike paralyze the enemy temporarily, and the snake eye jinjutsu, which would create fear on the enemy who looked at his eyes. But nothing prepared him for that night. The night of the Uchiha massacre. Flashback. Are you sure I can rest today? Certainly, you have learned everything for the week and I think you should rest for a while. After all, I'm proud of you boy. Thanks sensei. Just then a cry for help was heard. Naruto ran there, trying to see what was wrong only to come across the most horrible of sights. A full-out massacre. What is going on? He saw Itachi kill yet another person. He suddenly realized. He was killing Uchihas. Naruto was about to leave the place as he didn't want any part on this. He saw that Itachi was about to kill his own parents. Just leave them. They aren't worth it. Maybe not, but I am still going in. Something smells funny in all of this. Naruto did a couple of hand signs and hit the floor with both hands. Summoning jutsu. Hikari and Viper. Itachi hoped he didn't need to do this, but the origin of the treachery was in his father. Apparently, his mother didn't know what was going on as she tried to protect her husband. Fugaku was standing behind her, not caring that he was using his wife as a shield. "Mom, step away," ordered Itachi. "Why are you doing this, Itachi? I don't understand." Itachi turned to find 4 serpents coming at him. He jumped back just as a 5th serpent appeared in the middle, jumped in his direction and with a gracious turn, slapped Itachi in the face with her tail. She then recoiled back just for a little ball of fire to hit Itachi right in the chest. Itachi looked up as Hikari ran back to a boy he didn't want to see that night. "Naruto, that is most unexpected of you to drop by. I didn't want you to see this. What are you doing, Itachi? Why are you killing your own clan?" Itachi didn't care if Naruto knew by now, as he always thought it was better for both him and his listening mother to hear this father and the rest of the clan were planning to take the power by force. They were going to kill Sarutobi and take his place as leaders of the village. "I couldn't let this happen. I'm sorry if it seems cruel, but I'm doing the best for the village." Makoto gasped at this. "It can't be. Wouldn't Fugaku see that his son's way of thinking? We are Uchihas. How dare he tries to stop us?" Naruto only nodded at this, but still asked, "Why were you going to kill your mother too, then?" "I was giving her a chance to leave, Naruto." Naruto thought to himself, then decided to ask what next. "The plan was for me to infiltrate an organization called Akatsuki, who are after some special people." Itachi didn't know Naruto already knew about Kyuubi. "I could then work as a spy for the village." Naruto nodded once again. "What about your brother?" As Naruto said this, Sasuke appeared. He looked at the dead people on the floor, then up to meet the side of his brother, ready to fight a strange kid. "Big brother, was it him who killed them?" "No, Sasuke, I did." "Tsukaimi." Sasuke fell limp on the floor. "Ouch. You don't think you went a little overboard on this one? It is necessary. If my brother can work through the pain, a new and respectable breed of Uchihas will rise. Only if he isn't gay, you know." Itachi actually choked on this. He hadn't thought of that. But then he felt Anbu approaching fast. "It seems like I took too much time with this chat. Farewell, Naruto." And with that, Itachi vanished. Naruto sighed in relief. He was only trying to look calm because in truth he was scared as hell of what Itachi could have done. He turned to ask Makoto if they were alright, just to get a kunai in his chest, in his right lung missing the heart by little. Fugaku was about to strike again, but Viper and Hikari would have none of that. As Viper attacked with close-range fighting skills, Hikari used her mystic arrow to attack by far. But even though they tried, they stood no chance against a trained elite. Fugaku grabbed Viper by the neck and squeezed it tightly. Viper couldn't hold for long and went puff. Fugaku then turned to Hikari and launched a kunai that hit the poor vixen in the tail. As she screamed in agony, Fugaku did a fire-style, mini fireball rain to hit with the fireballs inside Hikari's mouth, burning the Hikari from the inside, that made her go puff too. He was about to finish the job when Makoto stood in his front. "What are you doing? They saved us. The village can't know we were saved by Thizdaman. We would be the laughing joke of the century. The Uchihas will forever be a clan of respect. Now get out of my front." As he yelled it, he hit Makoto on the face, making her fall to the ground. Makoto was in shook. How could he do this to her? After everything she'd done for him, he hit her. Fugaku was never one to show love, but he had never hit her before. Was her marriage a lie? Did it actually mean anything to him? But she couldn't think of that now, she had to save Naruto. She found a discarded kunai on the floor and picked it. Fugaku was about to strike again when Makoto hit him in the head with the discarded kunai in the head. Who knew that after all this years of yelling at Itachi to never leave his kunai laying on the floor, she would actually be grateful for he never following her advice. As Fugaku hit the floor, Makoto grabbed Naruto and she ran for her dear life, trying to find an hospital nearby. Time skip, a few moments later, Naruto woke up in a white bed. Similar to the day when he was 5-year-old, he just saw white. Hospital. "Hey kid. Nice job, almost got the both of us killed. Kyuubi? Do you have to be so loud? I'm still sleepy." "Well, maybe you ought open your eyes and look around." Naruto did just that and found a circle of serpents around him, trying to keep the doctors and nurses away. 5 two-tailed foxes stood on his bed too, waving their tails menacingly to anyone who dare come close. "Eyes? What is wrong?" One of the serpents and one of the foxes turned to Naruto. The fox went first. "Good morning, summoner, my name is Juno and I am the leader of the two-tailed battalion. We are sorry for our delay in answering to your moment of need, but after seeing the state of Hikari, we needed to treat her or risk losing her. As soon as she was out of danger, she told us what happened and we rushed here. The same for us," said the serpent. "Good morning, Naruto. I'm Serpos and I'm in charge of the snakes here. When Viper came to our world she was barely breathing. So we had to take care of her before we could come for you." Shitting himself was very nervous about her daughter's well-being and yelled for us to help her. As soon as she was able to speak, she told us what happened and we came for you. Naruto nodded. "But then, why are you threatening the doctors?" "Because one of them had poison in his needle." Naruto turned to Serpos. "As a serpent, I know every kind of poison there is to know. I can recognize poison just from the smell alone, and I could clearly smell poison on that needle from the other side of the hospital. That is not all, I'm afraid." Naruto turned to Juno this time. "Well, you were asleep, sir. A man with grey gravity-defying air came here and tried to use some sort of lightning technique on you. His palm was filled with electricity and he had a menacing look on the only eye I could see. Did he wear a mask?" Yes, he did." "How did you know?" "His name is Kakashi and this is not his first attempt." "Thanks for stopping him." Juno looked embarrassed. "Wichuela didn't stop him. It was that woman, Mikoto, who did it." Naruto's eyes went wide. She had actually saved him. He then decided to ask who brought me here. "It was I." Naruto turned towards the door to find Mikoto standing there. She smiled at him. "It was the least I could do for saving me, Naruto." There was the sound of footsteps and Sarutobi appeared in the room. Once he saw the two-tailed foxes, he got into a fighting stance. "Wait, old man. They are only protecting me." "Naruto. They are the servants of Kyuubi. How can you trust them?" "I do because I trust Kyuubi," said Naruto as both Mikoto and Sarutobi went wide-eyed at the statement. Naruto then told the story of how Kyuubi became his teacher, how he got 2 summoning contracts and the jutsus he learned. "So that is what you meant by my teacher is a slave driver," concluded Sarutobi. "Yeah. Sorry for not telling you earlier, old man. And you have 2 summoning contracts?" asked Mikoto. "Yes, foxes and serpents." "Serpents? Are you sure they are not snakes?" asked Sarutobi, fear in his voice. "I'm sure, old man. I know that snakes belong to a traitor to the village, but I trust the serpents." Sarutobi nodded at this. "Very well, Naruto. I'll trust your opinion." "Oh, Mikoto, there is a matter I wish to speak with you." "Yes." "Now, don't take this the wrong way, but you were supposed to die that night." Both Naruto and Mikoto looked at Sarutobi, eyes narrowed. "Please hear me out. The thing is, everyone believes you are dead. Including your son." "Oh my god. I got to go back for him." "It's too late. He already believes he is the last Uchiha in the village. Furthermore, if the council knows you are still alive, they will use you as a breeding machine for baby Uchihas. I can't allow that to happen. So what do I do now?" "There is a simple solution." Sarutobi went through a great number of hand signs. Then hit Mikoto in the forehead and a seal appeared. Sealing jutsu. Shape-shift seal. In a minute, Mikoto was different. Her eyes were blue like Naruto's and her hair was a light brown. She looked at herself. The rest was pretty much the same, except her pale skin became more bronzed, like she had stayed a day in the beach just sunbathing. "What happened to me?" "Just a seal I created. All we need now is a new identity and you will be able to live a normal life." "I do have such an identity, but it comes with a job." "What is it that I need to do?" asked Mikoto, decisively. As you may have noticed, Naruto isn't in the best of conditions. Even with the help he is getting, he is still badly treated and I wish I could change that. So if you accept, I wish to make you Naruto's adoptive mother." Naruto and Mikoto looked at Sarutobi in shock. Naruto then looked at Mikoto, hope filling his eyes. He really hoped he could have a mother. But in his head different scenarios of rejection played themselves. Mikoto was in a world of doubt. Could she really abandon her whole life, her son, for a new life? Then she looked at Naruto. "You are so different than Sasuke Itachi. Can I really do it?" But then she remembered something. She was been given a second chance. What was she doing questioning herself? "Okage-sama, I accept." Naruto looked at Mikoto in shock. Then tears fell from his eyes as he ran towards her and hugged her fiercely to himself. "I have a mom. I have a mom." Chapter 3 Pranks, Academy and a Snake Lady. "Naruto," said a sweet voice as she brushed Naruto's hair. "Time to wake up or you will be late to Academy. And on your first day too." Naruto opened his eyes to see his mom, Mikoto Uchiha, now called Maiko Uzumaki, looking at him with that look that he came to love to wake up to. Maiko had adapted well to her new life and role. At first, she was a bit tense. After all, she wasn't used to any other thing in her house. But Naruto was different. Every day he would come down and for breakfast, he would hug his mother, then jump to the table, eat his food, compliment her on the food, and then go for training. Another shock was he actually told her every day which training ground he would be at or if he was thinking of going to the serpent's jungle. He had never mentioned going to the fox's home and when asked, he would say, "Kyuubi told me I wasn't ready yet. So I'll wait till the time is right." The thing that saddened her was Sasuke. He had turned into a dark power-hungry snob. He acted like the village owned him everything and he was always brooding about killing his older brother. Maiko had tried to visit Sasuke to change his ways, but Sasuke pushed her away, saying, "You don't know what it's like to lose your family being murdered by a relative. One you trusted." If only he knew the truth, screw it, he still would act the same way. So she decided to just give up on a lost cause and focus on her new charge. A bundle of joy with everlasting energy to boost. She still remembered the headache the council tried to make out of this, they even tried to destroy the adoption papers. They were partially successful and would have been completely successful if Sarutobi didn't create 3 copies of those papers. So life was good. The only downside is that Naruto is not a really morning person, so she had to wake him up every day or he would sleep until noon. She sighed at this. Oh well, no one is perfect. And if that is his only problem, then she couldn't really complain about it. As Naruto rubbed the sleep of his eyes, he was caught with the sight of both Viper and Hikari on his chest, curled in his chest and with their tails on each of his arms. Ever since the incident with Fugaku they had been really overprotective of him. He still remembered how they reacted when he summoned them again. Flashback no jutsu, summoning jutsu. Hikari and Viper yelled Naruto as he slammed both his hands on the floor. He was at home, a day after he was out of the hospital, and he decided to call them out since it seemed like they were avoiding him. There was a huge puff of smoke, then both stood there. They looked at Naruto, tears in their eyes. They rushed towards him and enveloped him in a tight hug. "Girls. What is wrong? Why are you crying? Forgive us, Naruto," sobbed Viper. "We weren't strong enough and we were defeated by that man. We let you down. We were overconfident in our skills," continued Hikari. "He attacked us on our weak spots. We are sorry we failed you." Naruto went wide-eyed. They thought they had failed him. "Girls, he was an elite trained ninja. We were no match for him. If anything, you were awesome by standing up to him. Mikoto told me everything. I was the one that was nailed with a kunai on the chest." Both were about to protest, but Naruto silenced them. "Look, we were overconfident and we paid the price. Let's not repeat the same mistake and we will be fine, okay?" They both smiled at him and nodded. "Good. Now let's go. I'm itching to get back at training." Flashback end. So after that, Naruto went back to training with Hikari and Viper on his side. They were inseparable now and a terrible pranking force in Konoha. Their skills were feared by every ninja because no one knew who they were going to prank next. Strangely, though, only people who ever done wrong to Naruto got pranked. The others were always safe from them. There seemed to be one who was always it with something. Kakashi Haddock. The guy had once appeared with pink hair and another with no hair. Then there was that time that Kakashi's clothes just erupted in flames in the middle of the market. And who could forget about the day when his shampoo was exchanged by essence of fish? He was attacked by all the cats of Konoha in the same day, including Tora. The best one, however, was one day when Naruto did the unthinkable. It started with a normal day until a high-pitched scream was heard. When the Anbu reached there they saw Kakashi on the floor, eyes widen as his book fell on the floor. But it wasn't his normal book. No, it was gay porn. Kakashi could never prove it was Naruto, but knew it was him. It could only be him. Naruto grinned as a new prank came into mind. He saw the clock. 7 o'clock. Plenty of time to do it. He whispered to his 2 partners, and the 3 grinned. This was going to be a blast. "And what are you planning to do today?" asked Maiko while still preparing breakfast. "Better yet, who will you prank today?" Kakashi again. She actually hated the guy just as much as Naruto did because the prick had tried to use his Sharingan to get a view of her naked. But Naruto was getting home at that time and warned Maiko about him. Let's just say that he deserved every bit of pain she inflicted on him. "Nah, he is out on a mission. I'm going to go after the Hyugas today." "Very well, remember they use the Byakugan at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1600 hours and 1800 hours. Other than that, it shouldn't be a challenge to you." Naruto grinned. Maiko knew everything about the village defenses because Fugaku would sometimes leave the papers about it around the table and she would read them. "Thanks mom. I promise I won't be caught." "I hope so." Maybe it wasn't a good idea of a mother to give this kind of incentive to Naruto to do pranks, but these had a lot of advantages. 1. It promoted his stealth abilities. 2. It forced people to revise their defensive systems so they wouldn't get pranked, which would lead to a more protected village, and it was funny as hell. Naruto ate his breakfast, kissed his mother in the face, and then ran to his bedroom to get changed, hoping to start his plan before it was time for the academy to start. He went to the wardrobe and grabbed his new outfit. After seeing his clothes once, Mikita threw them away with the help of Hikari and Viper. His new clothes were an orange jacket with dark flames on the bottom and a green viper dancing in the back. He also wore a black muscle shirt with the kanji for serpent in green and fox in orange, both on the chest area. He wore some black pants and black combat boots. "Girls?" asked Naruto as Viper slithered rested on the inside of his jacket where she could attack from any of Naruto's sleeves, and Hikari jumped to his neck, circling it and then settling down, looking like a furry scarf. "Let's go, we got a meeting with the Hyugas." 30 minutes later, outside the Hyuga mansion. "This is Fox, everything is ready on my end," said a feminine voice through the radio communicator in Naruto's ear. "This is Serpent, I'm ready too." "Okay, this prankster. Start plan in 54,321 GO. All hell broke loose as chickens, ducks and geese filled the halls of the Hyuga mansion. The Hyugas were still sleeping except for the branch house, with whom Naruto actually sympathized and always warned before the pranks. As the main house was coming out of their bedrooms, they never noticed that their clothes had a strange glister on them. They only noticed when they came outside and the feathers started to stick to their clothes. Glue. Their clothes were filled with glue. And with all the feathers in the air, everyone was doomed to become giant feather balls. The only ones that escaped this were, once again, the branch house, Hinata and her sister Hanabi. The branch house was warned and had avoided the main house corridors. Hanabi and Hinata were lucky because they had woken up sooner than the others to train earlier. Naruto, Hikari and Viper laughed as they saw their handiwork. It was brilliant. The perfect plan put to action. "This was priceless," yelled Viper between laughs. "I know. I never had seen so many feathers on a human before. Maybe they are a new breed," joked Hikari as she rolled on the floor. Naruto whipped a tear out of the corner of the eye, then froze as he looked up. "Girls? We better run now." Both looked to find all the main house looking at them. "Yeah, we better go now," said Hikari as she started to step back slowly. "I agree. See you around," said Viper as she slithered back. As if someone had ringed a bell, everyone started running. Ones to save their lives, others to avenge their honor. It was how many people woke up by the yelling of both sides of the run. There was, however, one person that watched the run with interest. That person was Anko Mitarashi. She was bored and with nothing to do because the Hokage didn't have a mission for her today unless she wanted to do D-rank missions. Yeah right. As if she would be caught doing that shit again. No way. But just as she was about to go for Dango, trying to calm herself, she sees a kid with a bunch of geese in cages. She was actually admired as to where he got the geese, but when she saw what he had done with them, she had actually rolled on the floor. The kid was a genius. Now he was outrunning all the main Hyuga. This kid is fast. And he doesn't seem to tire anytime soon. And he is smart if he was able to prank the Hyugas. Interesting. Maybe there is some hope for new ninjas in this generation yet. Let's see what he does next. A few minutes later, at the academy, the teacher looked at the class. He loathed the day he had lost that card game at the beginning of the year. Because of that, he got the worst year. The first one. Haruka was a lucky son of a bitch, he got the last year, the easiest one. As the teacher was calling the names, he noticed the name Naruto Uzumaki on the paper. He decided to go right past that one and call for the next one on the line. Once he was done with the calls, he was about to just put a miss in Naruto's paper when a shadow appeared over to him. "Teacher, why didn't you call my name?" asked a voice he didn't want to hear. The teacher looked up to see Naruto standing there on top of his desk and looking at him with a face that outright told the teacher, "I know what you were doing and I don't like it one bit." The teacher started to see the side of him. "Get out of here, demon. Your kind is not welcomed here." Naruto nodded. "Fair enough, just a question though. What do you want? Are you allergic to serpents?" The teacher raised an eyebrow at the question and the innocent tone that was asked with. This wasn't going to end well. "Why do you want to know?" "Because you are about to get bitten by one." Surprise. As Naruto said that, he raised his sleeve and faster than the students could see, Viper had come out, bitten the teacher in the neck and went back inside the sleeve. The teacher yelled in pain, then started to feel dizzy. A few moments later, the teacher woke up to find himself tied to a post. He had his mouth stuffed with something, and when he looked at what it was he almost vomited. His own underwear. He was completely naked in the middle of the street with his unmentionables on his mouth. People around him would stop, outright laugh at him and then just leave. There was a sign over him that said, "Don't look at me. I'm just married to this post and we just had butt sex." Suffice to say, that only made people laugh more at the poor Chunin. The culprit was nowhere to be seen. Naruto had decided to go eat after the prank he had just played. Just as he was going from rooftop to rooftop, he was complimenting Viper. "Congratulations, Viper, your poison has really great, you know. It's just a sleeping poison, nothing much. But I am proud of it too," said Viper, glad she was being praised. "Hey, I helped you carry that idiot and tying him up. Don't I deserve a compliment?" pouted Hikari, feeling left out. "Of course, Hikari, you did great too. You shouldn't be jealous, though, I like the both of you the equally. Never forget that. This made both blush. Then both looked at one another and in a gestural language Hikari said to Viper, we will talk about this later. Viper nodded. This happened without Naruto knowledge, as he was looking for a place to eat. Hey girls, why not try dango today? It might be good to try something new. Asked Naruto as he was coming close to a dango restaurant. They both nodded at his suggestion and they entered the dango restaurant. The problem was that Naruto never had dango in his life, so he was kind of undecided about what to order. Just as he was about to just turn back and go for ramen, a voice was heard. Hey, Brad, give him the beginner's dish and put it on my account. Everyone in the restaurant gasped at the sight of who had said that, shocked to the bone. Naruto turned to see a purple-haired woman wearing a beige jacket, a fishernet shirt and a short skirt. Even though she looked like a whore, Naruto decided to not judge this new person by the looks, for 3 reasons. 1. He himself was the living proof that normally the looks can be deceiving. Who would tell, after looking at Naruto, that he was able to outrun Anbu? Second, the best opponent is the one that is able to hide his true skill, whether by looking inferior to what he is or by one's acting. Third, she was paying. How many people actually wanted to pay for his meals? The least he could do was hearing her out. Thanks miss. So you don't know me? I'm hurt. My name is Anko Mitarashi. Ring any bells? Naruto's eyes widened. The Anko Mitarashi? One of the persons that was in charge of the interrogation of people in Konoha. Naruto had heard about her from his mother and how she was her friend when she was still Mikoto. From what he heard about her, they were both very similar in terms of past. I'm honored of meeting you, Anko Mitarashi. No need to talk like that with me, kid. There is no honor here, just me paying some dango to a person that caught my interest. That prank you did to the Hyugas was excellent. It was nothing, really. I just knew when to strike. But the one that caught the most my attention was what you did to your new teacher. That was hard. Naruto's eyes hardened. Wouldn't you have done the same thing if he had come to your face and called you a demon? I think you more than anyone know what I'm talking about. Anko was shocked. How do you know about that? My mom told me about your past. She told me how you were a student of a man who became a traitor and then you got blamed for it too. Anko was actually surprised. I didn't know you had a mother. Who is she and how does she know so much about me? I was adopted recently, her name is Maiko Uzumaki. She took me in a few weeks ago. And I don't know how she knows, you will have to ask her personally. Naruto actually knew how, but didn't want to tell. I just ask that you don't kill her. She is very nice to me. There was a pang of pain in Anko's eyes, one that didn't go unnoticed by Naruto. Is something wrong? Did I say something? No, I just used to really like this woman, Mikoto Uchiha, but she died a few weeks ago at the hands of her own rampaging son. She was a very close friend and one sexy bitch. The name is very close to Maiko, so forgive me for my reaction. No need for that. Said Naruto. I understand. Anko's smile came back. So kid, if your teacher isn't going to teach you, want a hand on that? Naruto looked at Anko in the eyes. What? I ask if you want me to help you learn what the academy should teach you. Mind that you will have to be sometimes without me, as I have missions too. So what do you say? Naruto was shocked. Why would you help me? Anko shrugged because I like your pranks and I have been bored. Besides, don't expect me to go easy on you. Naruto laughed at her silliness. I wouldn't want it any other way. Oh, by the way, what is the beginner's dish? It's a dish with a dango of each kind. That way you can try and see if you like any of them. Naruto smiled. He had a feeling that this teacher was the right kind for him. As the dango came, Naruto offered some to his teacher and then both started eating their meals as they discussed their plans for the new training. Hikari and Viper would steal some food in the middle of their talk. Anko finally noticed the serpent and her eyes went wide. The serpents. But I thought that the contract was lost. It was, but I saved one of the members from death, passed the trial of the serpent which I will not talk about as each summon is their own, and got permission. Anko then noticed the subtle movement of Naruto's scarf. What about that, Einstein? Hikari is my second summon. Answered Naruto as Hikari showed her head. She belongs to the Fox clan. Anko whistled. I didn't know you could summon 2 clans. As Anko said that, she thought to herself must be Kyuubi's doing. So, let's get started. Anko grinned. When I'm done with you, you will wish you had never said those words. Time skip. That night, Anko was really impressed with her new student. They had used the morning for physical training and sparring, and it was only her experience that allowed her to pass Trough without a beating. Seriously, the kid had the skill and 2 unpredictable styles of fighting. Then they used the afternoon to check what jutsu he knew, and she was shocked that he knew some clan jutsu already. Of course they were the basics, but still. That is when she realized he didn't know the 3 required by the academy. So she passed the day teaching Naruto the henge. It was actually a surprise to find he had such a good chakra control, which he answered by saying that was one of the first things he trained in his life. He had gotten the henge by night and even made a variation that Anko, though it was both humorous and hot, the sexy jutsu such a hot girl in Anko's front was not good for her blood flow as she was losing rivers of it through the nose. Anko was a proud bisexual woman and she was never shy about her sexuality, so she actually went and grabbed the of Naruto, thinking that it would just puff and she would be left with Naruto again. The incredible thing was that it was a real transformation, making Anko wonder what else this kid could do. Of course, by then, Naruto was already freaked out. She explained as just checking if it was a real transformation or a henge. But now, it was dark and the kid was panting on the ground. "You did well, kid. Thanks, sensei." "Sensei? Yeah, you are teaching me after all, so the title suits you." "Not really, kid. It makes me feel old." They both laughed, then the kid said, "Hey, want to spend the night with us? I'm sure you might find a surprise or two." Anko was a very curious person, so when he said that, it was like seeing a fish bite the hook. "Alright, Buster. Let's see what surprise you have there." They walked together towards Naruto's house. Hikari and Viper had left to train in their clans, so they walked in silence. That is, for as long as Anko can keep quiet. "So, was it your new mommy that forced you out of those horrible jumpsuits?" Naruto grumbled. "They were not that bad. But yes, it was her, with some help from my summons." Anko laughed. "That had got to be priceless. But you know that those clothes are not really stealthy. These are my training clothes. They are made of a tissue that makes movement harder on the user. Furthermore, if I can go around and evade Anbu with this, then I don't need help with stealth. But I do have another set of clothes, my mission clothes." "Oh, and what are those clothes?" "You will find out if and when we do a mission together." Anko pouted, but nodded. A good ninja always kept a thing or two for himself, even the most insignificant of stuff. They had reached Naruto's home. Naruto knocked on the door. "Mom, I'm back from training and have a surprise for you." Anko was a bit surprised, but kept herself there. Maybe his new mother was someone she already knew. Oh god, what if she had tortured her before and now she wants revenge? Maiko came to the door. There was a moment the world stopped as both Anko and Maiko looked at each other in absolute shock. "Anko? Makoto? Chapter 4 Genin exam, kicking ass. Do you have your stuff, Naruto? Pens, papers and prank bag?" asked Maiko as she helped Naruto with his stuff. "Mom, I prepared everything yesterday night while you and Anko didn't let me sleep with your moans and yells." "Seriously, silencing seals are not that expensive." Maiko blushed. The last year, both Maiko and Anko had become an item. Naruto was really happy at the beginning, but he didn't know one thing about Maiko: she is very loud in bed. "Guess we did forget something yesterday, sorry Naruto." Naruto sighed. "You know I have nothing against you being together. If anything, I'm happy you found someone. But today is my genin exam and I wanted to at least look presentable to it. But now I look like I have been killed and brought back from the dead." Maiko laughed at Naruto's comparison. To tell the truth, she knew he was just messing with her. Naruto, as soon as he heard her, activated a silencing seal outside her room. She knew because she found it activated in the morning. Plus Naruto looked well rested, just acting to tease his mom. "I understand. But don't be so nervous, you will pass it for sure. Remember what I taught you for the written part, Kyuubi, and the summons prepared you for the throwing shuriken and taijutsu part, and Anko got you 2 of the 3 needed jutsu for the last part and then gave you a good substitute for the last part." This was true, indeed Maiko had helped him with the boring lessons of history, making them more interesting with a bit of acting on her part. Kyuubi and the summons had trained him to the bone for his body to be ready against any opponent and his aim was near perfect. He had learned the henge and substitution. Due to his still large chakra reserves, he couldn't do the bunshin, but he learned from Anko a nice technique from the same family of techniques. Cage bunshin jutsu. He was so good with that one it became one of his favorites. "Okay, see you when I am rookie of the year." "I know you will be, but don't boast about it so loudly, you will demoralize the other kids," joked Maiko. Naruto then smirked, made a cut in both his hands, then a bit of hand signs, later summoning jutsu. Hikari and Viper. Hikari and Viper appeared on his front. She took their original positions. Viper inside Naruto's jacket and Hikari around his neck. But not before they had looked at each other significantly. They did have that talk. The talk. "So, Hikari, care to tell me why you were blushing the other day?" asked Viper, pointing at Hikari. "That's for the same reason as you, Viper. Face it, we like him really much. He is kind, loving and caring. But he is also funny and smart with all those pranks he plans. And he is very protective of us, and oh, there is too much to tell." Viper nodded. "Yes, there is keep us going and inspiring us to be better, but at the same time he works hard to improve himself. One cannot help but to fall for him." They both sighed. Then looked at each other. "Does this mean we will have to fight for him?" asked Hikari, not liking the idea. No, there is only one thing we can do, we will have to wait for Naruto's choice. The one he chooses will have to do her best to make him happy. That is all. What if he chooses someone else? Viper was in thought about this. Then we will make sure that someone is one that can make him happy. That is all we can do, Hikari. Hikari nodded at this. Then both returned to their trains, trying to get stronger for the guy they love. Talk end. Good morning, ladies. I hope you are ready to kick ass. Do you need to ask who said this? Of course we are. We are so going to leave those genin on the floor. Yelled an excited Hikari as her tail wagged. I agree. Said Viper, equally excited. This is what we have been training for. To be the best. Then let's go. At the academy, everyone was talking loudly, some saying they would pass, others nervous that they would fail. Sasuke was seating at one side with all his fangirls in seats near him, and is that a fanboy? No, it's Sakura yelling at Ino again. In that moment, Naruto entered the room. Everyone turned to see the new kid, admired about his looks. These were some of the thoughts. Who is the new kid? Better show him I'm top dog. WW who is TT the new KK kid? Humph, he is nothing compared to an Uchiha, just another wimp to bite the dust. Whoa, he is hot. Maybe more than Sasuke. You win forehead, you have Sasuke, the new kid is mine. Well, he is cute, but Sasuke is hotter. Buzz interesting, he might be the strongest in here. Buzz yes, I have to watch this one closely. Troublesome, a super kid just entered the room. And what is with the fox in his neck and that is serpent? I wonder if this kid will accept a eating contest with me. Most of the girls were looking at Naruto with hearts in their eyes. Viper and Hikari seethed at this. Most of those bimbos won't even make genin. The two thought at the same time, stop looking at my man. Naruto looked at the kids around, trying to see where he should sit down. He found an empty spot near Sasuke, but ignored it. He saw another near a kid with black sunglasses and a high-collar jacket. An Abiram, quiet but smart. The type of guy I can sit down next to. So, to the shock of all, the new kid sit near Shino. They were quiet for a while, then Naruto extended his hand. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. May I know your name? Shino raised an eyebrow, then said simply, and without acknowledging the hand, my name is Shino Abiram. Naruto then made a goofy face. You know, when one has his hand like this, you are supposed to shake it. Shino was surprised. Naruto knew he was an Abiram and still wanted to shake hands with him. Shino smiled. Maybe there was hope for a friend. He decided to do a test and, as he shook Naruto's hand, he slipped some bugs into his hand. Naruto laughed. Those tickle a bit. So this is the type of bug that Abiram use. Said Naruto as he looked at his hand. Shino smiled behind his collar. Now he knew this kid could be a friend if he wasn't disgusted about his bugs. These are the basic ones. However, from my clan, one can choose different animals to form a hive in them. My uncle is killer wasps. Really, that is so cool. The only downside is they eat your chakra a lot, don't they? Asked Naruto. One gets used to it. Replied Shino. Can I ask why you don't seem disgusted by my bugs? It's not bugs that bother me. Answered Naruto. People are sometimes far more disgusting than any animal can ever hope to be. Shino nodded at his logic. Coming from the Abiram, logic was an essential thing and his was correct in every sense and form. Just then, a kid with a dog in his head got in front of Naruto. Naruto didn't even blink. Could you move, you are blocking the light. You think you are good, but in here, I'm top dog, got it, yelled the kid. Naruto looked at him, then looked up. Could you keep your pet on a tighter leash? He is a bit annoying. Everyone laughed at this. The kid looked at Naruto. What did you say? Hey, if the problem is that you are top dog, I can get you neutered. Simple and fast. Everyone broke down laughing. The kid looked at Naruto, then smiled. Never heard that one before. I like your style, man. Name is Kiba and the little guy over me is Akamaru. Said the now identified Kiba as he extended his hand. Naruto shocked. Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet both owner and pet, whatever way the thing works. Kiba laughed at the joke. You are not that far from the truth. In the Inyazuka clans, both dog and human take care of each other. So at some times, he is my owner. Naruto laughed at the information while Shino sniggered at Kia. Just then, Iruka came in the classroom. Okay, people, let's all sit down so we can start the written test. After that, you will meet Mizuki outside. Any questions? Seeing as no one had questions, Iruka started giving the papers out. As the papers were being given, Viper did a quick scan to the paper. Naruto, wait a moment. I think there is a minor genjutsu in your paper. Iruka saw the serpent and confused it with a snake that was going to attack Naruto. Without even blink, Naruto raised his hand and grabbed Iruka's arm as he was going in for the kill. The kunai in Iruka's hand was at mere millimeters of Viper. Naruto. What the hell are you doing? She could be a spy for Orochimaru. Yelled Iruka as he tried to pull his arm back. But the thing is, he couldn't. Naruto had such a strong hold of his arm that he couldn't even tremble. He looked at Naruto and saw ice-cold eyes looking at him. Iruka-sensei. First, I will give you one chance to apologize to my summon. If you don't, I'll get pissed. Second, she couldn't be a spy because she is a serpent and Orochimaru uses snakes. Last, you should be trying to look after the guy who put a genjutsu on my paper. Because this I could have failed this part if Viper, the serpent here, hadn't found the illusion. Iruka was livid. He had never seen Naruto act like that. He was even more livid when he saw that Naruto was right. It was a serpent and there was a genjutsu on the test. Okay, Naruto. Just let me take care of the test. First apologize to her. Yelled Naruto without letting go. Iruka gulped, then turned to the serpent who was looking at him. I'm sorry for this, I thought you were. It is alright, Iruka. Appeased Viper. You couldn't see me clearly, that was a misunderstanding. As she said that, she slithered out of Naruto's jacket. The moment she did, most kids freaked out. Viper was no longer the small serpent she once was, she was big enough to touch both hands of Naruto, with her tail and head, when his arms were stretched. Hikari hadn't grown so much because her growth spur was not yet upon her, which actually allowed her to ride as Naruto's scarf. So she was impressive. Most of the girls backed away from her. Sakura did what she does better. Screeched. Naruto baka. How dare you bring a ugly serpent to the academy? You really are. Just as she was about to continue, the room was filled with enough killer intent to suffocate even a jonin. Naruto was the source. Sakura, I'll only say this once. I don't care what your whore of a mother told you about me, I don't care what you say about me. You say one more thing about Viper or Hikari and you're dead. Sakura trembled. But if there is one thing that all people know is that, in the world, there is only one thing that is immortal. The human stupidity. Naruto, how dare you threaten me? Just because I won't go on a date with a demon like you, doesn't mean you can't threaten me. Naruto was about to retort back when the most amazing thing happened. Viper snapped. She slithered toward Sakura at an amazing speed and hit Sakura with her tail. Then, as Sakura went back, she enrolled herself around Sakura's waist and circling a table with her tail, she threw Sakura against the wall. Sakura hit the wall hard and fell unconscious. Viper then slithered back towards Naruto, muttering something that sounded like stupid banshees and pink-haired freaky whores. Everyone was in shock at what happened. That serpent had just done what could be described as the most awesome thing they had ever seen since they had come to the academy. Naruto was in even more shock at what happened. Patient and calm Viper snapped. The end of the world must be near. It was at that time that Hikari decided to wake up. What did I miss? Everyone turned to Naruto's neck to see the fox. Iruka was pale again and the girls ran towards her, trying to pat the now scared fox. This only helped to spite more of Viper's anger. Everyone loves foxes, but serpents. No, because serpents are evil. Naruto was beginning to worry about her. Naruto, who is that fox you have there? That, Iruka, is my fox summon. And before you start, I have 2 summoning contracts. Serpents and foxes. That is all I'm going to say. Sasuke raised himself from his place and went to Naruto. Give them to me. I'm an Uchiha, I deserve them more than you could ever. Naruto didn't have time to answer as it was Hikari's time to snap. Before anyone could grab her, she ran at high speed at Sasuke, did a somersault in the air, then hit Sasuke with her tail. As Sasuke was getting his bearings back, Hikari put her tails up. Flame wheel. Before Sasuke could escape, a ball of fire hit his chest and sent him near Sakura, where he laid unconscious. She then throttled back, muttering something like stupid arrogant jerks and egotistical motherfuckers. Naruto was actually freaked out by this. He knew the girls like the paw of his hand. They had never acted that way towards anyone. Now, they just snapped. And out of her period. He would have to find out what the fuck was wrong with the both of them, but that would be for later. He had to bring the class back together. Iruka, my test. Iruka snapped back into reality. Yes, of course. And so they were back to doing the test. A few seconds later you could find 2 people sleeping. Shikamaru and Naruto. Shikamaru thought the thing was just troublesome and Naruto had finished the test already and was bored. A few minutes later, they were out in the field, ready for the Taijutsu part of the exam. Viper and Hikari were in their usual places. Naruto saw the other matches. The objective was to hit Mizuki at least once. Naruto was commenting the battles with Kyuubi. These guys suck. Most of them doesn't even have a decent fighting stance, just a poor copy of the academy style. Maybe so, but you would be just like that if it wasn't for the help me and shitting have given you. By the way, when are you going to tell those 2? What are you talking about, Kyuubi? I mean, when are you going to tell them your feelings? It would be easier if you do it sooner. Are you kidding me? What if they don't love me back? And for the record, did you saw Shitting's eyes? If I ask her daughter and Hikari to be my girlfriends, he would kill me. Oh, and it's my turn to fight, so let me focus. As Naruto thought that, Mizuki called his name. Sasuke had just gotten out after hitting Mizuki 3 times. Kiba said that Mizuki went easy on him and Naruto knew it was quite truth. The council always wants what they think is better for the golden boy. Naruto took his jacket and put it on the floor. Both Hikari and Viper got on the jacket as if it was some kind of seat for a show. Naruto then went to the stage. He looked at Mizuki and saw a glint in his eyes he knew all too well. It was one of hate. Okay, Naruto. If you can hit me, you pass. Naruto then got in the fighting stance of the smart fire fist. Legs bent and hands held close to each other in a circle position, looking at the opponent. Chakra flared in his hands like a blue flame. Naruto, this is a taijutsu match. You don't need chakra. For my style, I need. You will see. The match began and ended in less than 10 seconds. Mizuki went to strike Naruto with a punch in the face. Naruto grabbed and turned the fist away as he touched Mizuki in the chest. A blast was heard and Mizuki fell out of the ring, clothes with chakra burns. Everyone was silent. The new kid had beaten Mizuki in less than 10 seconds. The only ones that weren't frozen in shock were Hikari and Viper because they knew already of that ability, Shino, who was studying the taijutsu with interest and Sakura who was screeching again. Naruto Baka, how dare you do that to Mizuki-sensei? You stupid demon. In a blink, both Hikari and Viper had moved. They were upon Sakura and this time, Viper bit her in the leg. As Sakura opened her mouth to scream in pain, Hikari jumped and sent a mystic arrow to her chin, not strong enough to do hard damage, but to make the jaws hit each other and the impact made Sakura dizzy. Then, both Hikari and Viper flicked Sakura with their tails as a whip and threw her against the wall again. Would you shut up? Some of us have sensitive ears, you know. Yelled Hikari. Yeah, and just for the record, nobody likes the billboard, pink-haired banshee screaming at them. Everyone was in silence until Iruka came out, saw the mess and asked what the hell happened while I was correcting the written exams. Lunch break, you guys really flipped out today. Are you sure everything is fine? Asked Naruto as they ate at Ichiraku's ramen. Hikari and Viper looked at each other. They knew that sooner or later they would have to tell what was wrong. They decided to do it tonight. But first he needed to tell their families. Naruto, we will explain everything tonight, okay? Just be patient until then. Asked Viper. Yeah, it is just until tonight, okay? Please. Pleaded Hikari. Naruto looked at them and nodded. Fine, but I want a full explanation. Okay. Yelled both. Oh, Naruto. Viper started, a bit unsure. Can I go visit my realm while you take care of the rest of your exam? I need to speak with Dad. Me too. Mommy and I need to have a talk. Said Hikari. Fine. But I'm still waiting for both of you tonight. At the academy again. Okay, time for the object throwing test. Yelled Iruka. You can choose 10 kunai or 10 shuriken or 10 senbon. All you got to do is hit the maximum of targets with the objects you choose. The kids started the exercise. Most got 5s and 6s. Nothing major. Sasuke got 9 and 10th the shuriken. Naruto went up and grabbed 10 of each. Naruto, it is only. But Naruto had already started throwing the objects. In each target in each center, laid nailed a senbon, a shuriken and a kunai. Everyone gasped and Sasuke fumed at this. Again he defeats me, how? How is he so strong? I have to get his power in order to defeat him. As this was happening, in the serpent jungle, Viper slithered towards her father, who was meditating in the high threes. Father, may I have a moment of your attention? My daughter, you always have my attention. You make me proud with your progress every day. As Shitting said that, he stretched. Now, what brings you here? Did Naruto already pass his test? No father, not yet. Viper then sighed. Father, I don't know how to say this beauty me nimwad I'm trying to say I so screw it, I'm in love with Naruto. Shitting looked at her daughter. Do you? Yes father. Me and Hikari both love him and we were thinking of telling him tonight. I want to know if you allow this. Shitting looked at the sun in the horizon. You know, today I had a meeting with the 3 judges to talk about Naruto. You know that given the methods of our judges, most of our summoners have had hard lives. Viper looked at her father as he continued. Well, I talked with them and was able to get to know more about Naruto and can even theorize some things. Shitting then looked at Viper. Have you ever wondered why he lets you be with him at all times, even in his sleep? Why he allows you to go in his jacket as he goes in town, so close to himself? Viper shook her head. Shitting then answered, because before Yuto came, he didn't have any kind of nice contact. His life has been a constant pain, any kind of close contact he had with other people were with the doctors and the Hokage who was always too busy. In other words, he found in Yuto what he needed, a loving contact. Viper gasped. She had no idea that the fact that they were always there for him was so important. Shitting continued, you two became living pillars of his spirit, without you, he will fall. That is why I agree with this. Viper smiled. Thank you, father. Shitting smiled. You may even show the advanced henge of the summoning clans. But no kids just of yet. I'm not old enough for grandchildren. Father. In the fox den. Mom. Mom. Where the hell is she? Mom. Yelled Hikari as she ran through the cavern. The fox realm was a den in a mountain, so it could be difficult to find someone in there, as both the mountain and the den were massive. I'm here, my child. A smooth voice was heard as Hikari was involved in a six-tailed hug. The tails belonged to a yellow fox that was laid on the floor. Now, what is all this racket about? Don't tell me you have gotten your summoner in some kind of trouble. Mom, it is not that. Yelled an angry Hikari. Kaisei, her mother, was a very loving vixen, but liked to tease everyone a lot. It's about him, but it's different. Kaisei raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. Hikari bit her lip. The thing I see love him. Kaisei's eyes widened at this. Really? Yes mom, me and Viper do. We are going to tell him tonight. Well, good for you. I hope you can be very happy with him. Hikari was shocked. Her mother was very easygoing, but that was a bit too much. Why are you taking this so well? You preferred me yelling something nasty? I have my reasons. 1. The other summons always have something nice to say about Naruto, so I know he is a good kid. 2nd, remember that I have a mate mark with Kyuubi. Hikari nodded. It was no secret that her mother was the mate of Kyuubi. Well, I have talked with him and he praises the boy very much. So I have nothing against. Hikari smiled. Thank you, mom. Show him the advanced henge tonight, that will make him go crazy about you. Oh, and use condoms, I don't want to be a granny yet. Mom. At the academy. Okay, people. Time for the ninjutsu segment of the test. All you have to do is show us the henge, the substitution and the bushin. Then you can get extra points if you do one more technique for us. Explained Iruka as he and Mizuki sit on a chair next to a table. Iruka then showed a list of names. When I call your names, you come here. And so it began once again. Naruto was really bored. This is easy. What the hell? If some of these genin wannabes was sent to a C rank they would be dead in a minute. Sasuke was the one that was getting the best punctuation on this. He did a very good henge, an eye substitution and 5 clones. Then he did the Katen. Fireball jutsu. Everyone was amazed about a genin with that jutsu. Naruto snored on his place. Boring. When it was finally Naruto's turn, he jumped out of his chair and landed in front of the surprised teachers, already henged. He was the 4th Hokage. Both teachers were appalled by the similarities. Iruka even thought that maybe it was truly Minato Namikaze until Naruto cancelled the henge. Okay, Naruto. Now I want the substitution. In the middle of the sentence, Iruka had somehow appeared in the middle of the room. He looked back and saw Naruto near Mizuki, cleaning his teeth with a stick. Okay, Iruka was once again in his place. Now, the bushin. In a moment, a single hand sign and the room was filled with Naruto's clones. Both Iruka and Mizuki were appalled by this. They had never heard of someone doing so many. Well, Naruto. Do you want to do anything else for extra credit? Asked Iruka. Yes. Naruto then closed his eyes. When he opened them, he went through a series of hand signs and yelled Katen. Fire Fox Jutsu. Then foxes of fire appeared besides Naruto, all of his size. They began to wander the classroom, looking at the other kids with a predatory grin. Then they turned and went out through the window and they hit the floor. The pillar of flames they produced was so hot, it made people sweat like pigs. Then, a black scorch mark remained on the floor. I'm done here. Can I get my headband now? As Iruka nodded dumbly, Mizuki seethed. There goes my fallout guy. That means that I will have to steal the scroll myself. Chapter 5. It's at night that the party begins. Naruto was coming of academy, a paper stating congratulations in being the rookie of the year in his hand, as well as his bag being filled with some prizes. A set of kunai and shuriken and 2 jutsu scrolls. One for the transparency jutsu and the other for a jutsu called chakra pulse, which allowed one to send enemies back a bit. The jutsu wasn't powerful enough to hurt, but it was useful to get time for another jutsu and to keep guys away from you. He stood there, watching as all the other kids were running to their parents. He got a little sad because he couldn't see Maiko or Anko there. But that soon changed as he felt 2 chakra signatures just behind him. He turned around and saw both of them, Maiko and Anko, talking with Iruka. Didn't I tell you Maiko that he would be rookie of the year? Shrimp is just too fucking awesome to be compared with these losers. As Anko yelled that, the parents of those that had passed the genin exam glared at her. Don't get the kid too cocky, Anko. Reprimanded Maiko. We both know what an oversized ego can do to a person. Author screams in outrage. What the fuck do you mean? Maiko takes a step back defensively. I was talking about Sasuke. Oh, okay. Mom, Anko. Yelled Naruto as he ran towards them and jumped on their arms. Oh, calm down Shrimp. Joked Anko until she saw that Hikari and Viper weren't there. Where are your pets? Weren't they with you? Naruto growled at this. They are not my pets. Oh, are they your fuck buddies then? Everyone except Maiko and Naruto were shocked at the language. Naruto was shocked at the insinuation. Anko. Come on, Anko, quit teasing the poor kid. Maiko thought it was funny, but the poor kids were getting shocked at them. But seriously, Naruto, where are those two? They went to their summon realms. Naruto answered. They were acting weird today and when I asked them, they said they would tell me tonight, but they needed to go back to their realms. Maiko and Anko looked at each other, then looked back at Naruto again. What do you mean, weird? Asked Maiko. Yeah, their period was ended last week. So spill it, kid. Demanded Anko and Naruto knew it was better to tell than face a curious Anko for the rest of the day. As he told what happened, both women had similar thoughts. Doesn't he realize they snapped because he was the one being insulted? By Maiko and Shrimp is really dumb sometimes. Genius, but dumb. By Anko. Shrimp, you better wait for tonight, it's better they tell you. Said Anko, with a serious tone in her voice. Naruto looked down on the ground. You mean you don't know what is wrong with them? Oh, we know. Said Maiko. But it is best if it is told by them, it is kind of personal Naruto. Naruto nodded and decided to wait for tonight. As this was happening, Mizuki was seething in the corner. Look at that, the disgusting demon has a family. Well, it doesn't matter. I must focus on getting the scroll. Anko saw the grin and turned to Naruto. Hey Shrimp, I got to go to a meeting of Jonins to decide the teams and such, you should go with Maiko now. Then she whispered in his ear, keep an eye on Mizuki, I don't know, but nothing good will come out of that. Naruto nodded at this, and Anko disappeared in a puff of smoke. In the Hokage's office, 2 hours later, the Jonins that this would take students were standing there, all in the Hokage's front. All? No, an annoying silver-haired one-eye porn-reading bastard wasn't there. He was late again 2 hours. Sarutobi was about to summon the Anbu to get him when he finally appeared. Yo. Sorry I'm late, but there was a. Spare me from your ridiculous excuses, Kakashi. Now, do you have any student you request? Asked the Hokage. You see, even though the final word was of the Hokage, the Jonins were allowed to request students and state their reasons. Or to refuse students and state the reasons for that. For example, a Jonin who knows absolutely nothing of Genjutsu can refuse a Genjutsu master wanted genin. Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. First, I request Sasuke Uchiha, since I'm the only one with an active Sharingan and so I can teach him better than anyone else. The other Jonins got angry at this proclamation. Just because they didn't had the Sharingan didn't mean they weren't good teachers. But Sarutobi only said, do you have anything more? Yes, I request Naruto Uzumaki on the grounds that he can create a friendly rivalry with Sasuke to make him work harder. The last student, I have no requests or refuses. Sarutobi nodded, then said very well. Team 7 will be made of Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno and Sai. Kakashi's only eye widened. Sir, what about Naruto? You forgot about him in my team. As a matter of fact, I didn't. There was another Jonin who requested Naruto for an apprenticeship. Kakashi looked around. Guy wouldn't be, he is too focused on his new mini-me. Asuma wanted the new Ino Shikacho team and if he knew Kurenai would choose Hinata. Then who choose the boy? I did, fucking Cyclops. Kakashi turned to find Anko looking at him like she was about to kill him. Now, a normal person would look and stay quiet to not get further problems, but this is Kakashi. Anko-chan. Very nice prank. Now can I get my student back? Not the right thing to say. I don't know if you heard well, Kakashi, but I took the kid as my apprentice. What makes you even think that you have any rights to him? Kakashi's eyes narrowed. But I need him. In order to spike Sasuke into training. So you would sacrifice Naruto for that prick, Sasuke. That is low, Kakashi. Way too low, even for you. Said Anko in a poison-filled voice. Sasuke is the last Uchiha, he needs all the help he can get. Besides, who cares about that boy anyway? Not like he is that much impressive. The room grew quiet. Then everyone, even the Hokage, laughed at the guy's stupidity. What? Asked a surprised Kakashi. Kakashi, he not only is better than Sasuke, he was given the title of Rookie of the Year. He got a perfect score and that is not counting with the extra points for that extra jutsu. Answered the Hokage. Kakashi eyes widened. He was in so much shock that he didn't move. Can we finish this reunion? I have a horny hot MILF waiting for me. Yelled Anko, getting the desired effect as all males flew back with a nosebleed and Kurenai shook her head at her behavior. Sarutobi was the one that came to his senses first. Very well, you are all dismissed. As the Jonins left the room, he then pressed a button in his desk. Sent in the cleaning people. There was a major accident here. Later that night, Naruto was following Mizuki. The guy was very easy to track and follow, and he saw him stealing that huge scroll from the Hokage's tower while they had the meeting. It was a good very lucky strike for Mizuki that one of the Jonin had come late, making the meeting be held at the exact moment he was going to steal the scroll. One more reason to always be punctual. Anyway, he would attack, but then he thought if I strike him now, he can say I attacked him without a reason, and with so many Anbu that are not of trust here, it could be problematic. I have to wait. So he followed Mizuki until they were at a forest. I can't use my fire jutsu here, so I'm stuck with serpent jutsu. more than enough to kick his ass. He then went for the strike. "Hello, Mizuki-sensei." Mizuki jumped out of his skin as he heard the voice. He then turned to see Naruto there. "Oh, hi Naruto. I was just reviewing this scroll for the next class." "Really, is that the best you could come up with?" "Pathetic. I saw you stealing that scroll, you traitor," yelled Naruto. Mizuki grew serious then. "I see. You are far too dangerous now, Naruto. I think I will kill you." And with that, Mizuki threw a giant shuriken at Naruto. Naruto was able to dodge it and threw 5 shuriken at Mizuki. Mizuki jumped, but while he was on the air, Naruto stretched his hand. Serpent hand was what Mizuki heard as, for his horror, 4 large serpents appeared in Naruto's arm and bit on him hard. Mizuki gasped in pain. He was lucky the ones Naruto summoned were not poisonous because Naruto wanted to interrogate him, but it still hurt. Naruto then brought him closer. "Who are you working for?" asked Naruto as he looked at Mizuki in the eyes. "Orochimaru-sama," answered a scared Mizuki. "So you were going to give one of our most prized scrolls, the one containing forbidden jutsu, to your butt buddy?" asked Naruto in a very cold voice. "Shut up Kyuubi." Naruto stood still, then he asked in a shocked voice. "What did you said?" "I said shut up Kyuubi." As Mizuki yelled, he stabbed one of the serpents with a kunai that made it go puff. Naruto brought back the other serpents before they were hurt too. "You think haha you think that haha I'm the Kyuubi? Oh this is hilarious. I have to tell this one." Naruto then did a summoning jutsu while Mizuki was shocked. Shouldn't he be cowering in fear? Instead, he was laughing. From a puff of smoke, Hikari and Viper appeared. "Naruto, not yet, girls. There is something that is far too hilarious for me not to tell. You see Mizuki over there?" He pointed to Mizuki and both looked at him. "Just called me Kyuubi." There was a moment of silence, then both sniggered, which soon turned into a full-blown laughter as they rolled in the ground. "Oh, that was priceless," yelled Viper as she cleaned a tear from the corner of her eye. "Yeah. Wait, I have an idea. Viper, summon your dad as I summon my mom, they should hear this." As one began doing hand seals, the other began to chant. In an instant, there was a loud puff of smoke and both Shitting and Kaisei appeared out of smoke. "What is the problem, my daughter?" asked a worried Shitting. "Yes, my child. What is the problem?" asked a equally worried Hikari. "You got to hear this," said both of Viper and Hikari at the same time. Now Mizuki was scared as no tomorrow. There stood a gigantic serpent and a very big 6-tailed fox. "What the fuck? What am I supposed to do now?" As he thought that, both the giants started laughing. "Stupid human. Naruto may be powerful, but he is way too far from Kyuubi's power," laughed Shitting as he looked at. "He is rather foolish, isn't he? To compare one to the other." Kaisei roared in laughter. "What are you laughing about?" asked Mizuki in a scared voice. "The boy you so nicely complimented by calling him my mate's name is only his container," roared Kaisei. "Wait, my enthusiastic companion," said Shitting as he looked at Mizuki's eyes. "I don't think he said that as a compliment." Both looked at Mizuki, who gulped at the situation. "Mama." A few minutes of Mizuki ping-pong later, Mizuki was laying on the floor, bloodied and very burned. He was beaten beyond recognition. On the side, 2 very satisfied titans were stretching themselves after the game. "You win this time, old serpent. But next time I will win. I will show you what the Fox clan can do in a game of human ping-pong," yelled angry Kaisei. "Sure you will. Anyway, Viper, remember what I said. You too, Hikari." And with that, both were gone in a puff of smoke. Naruto turned to see 2 blushing partners. "What did they meant by that?" asked a still oblivious Naruto. "Well, let's take this somewhere else, Naruto," said Viper, still blushing. "Yeah, maybe your home, please," begged Hikari. "Okay, but first." Naruto turned to the bushes. "Haruka-sensei, could you take this back to the Hokage Tower? Tell them it was Mizuki and that you did it, maybe it will give you a very well-earned raise." Haruka was in shock. When did Naruto found out he was in the bushes? Before he could ask, Naruto and the girls were already running away. At Naruto's home, Naruto and his lovely companions reached home to find it empty. Naruto thought the worst until he read a paper in the fridge. "Dear Naruto, I'm staying with Anko for the night. This is because of 2 reasons. 1, you and the girls have something important to discuss, and 2, me and Anko need to have some alone time. I'll see you in the morning, sweetie. Love, Mom." Naruto then saw another message on the fridge. "Hey Shrimp. Your mom is passing the night in my house. It doesn't take an Einstein to figure out why. You and the girls need some privacy and I'm going to bang your mother so hard that she would be keeping you awake all throughout the night. Love, Anko." Naruto sweat dropped at this. That was Anko alright. Well, Maiko would try to give him the more proper version, she acted like she said fuck what is proper. But still, the 2 were what he called family. His 2 mothers. However, both Viper and Hikari were absolutely nervous now. They had read the messages and saw that everyone was making the effort. But neither would back down now. "Naruto, go to the bedroom please, me and Hikari will be there soon," said Viper, trying to calm herself. For both girls' relief, Naruto obeyed without asking any questions. Viper then turned towards Hikari. "So shall we do it?" Hikari nodded. Then as Viper chanted, Hikari did some hand signs. Then both yelled advanced henge. Anthropomorphic form. Naruto was getting a little bit impatient. He has been waiting for this all day, and now he was waiting even more. He was going to get up and go to outside to ask what was wrong when the doors opened and his mouth fell to the floor. There were the most beautiful creatures in the world at the door. The first one was like a furry goddess with her body filled with an orange fur, a fox-like tail waving behind her, and two foxy ears on the top of her head, much like Hikari. She had D-cup-sized breasts and a round ass. The next one was a scaled goddess. Her body was covered in green scales. Her arms and legs were a bit smaller, and her tail seemed to be bigger. Her head had a pear-like form, much like Viper. She had a C-cup size and a much more round ass than the first one. Overall, these girls were fucking hot. Both Hikari and Viper giggled at Naruto's expression as he looked at them. He was actually drooling at them. "I take it you like what you see, Naruto-kun," said Viper in a seductive way. "You better. We didn't get like this for nothing, after all," said Hikari in a confident voice as she saw the reaction of Naruto at them. Only then did Naruto realize who those two were. Hikari. Viper. "How? Our summon clans have a special advanced henge that allows the user to have a more human form," explained Viper as she got near Naruto. "But the thing is, we only use it when we reveal ourselves to a human lover." Naruto's brain wasn't able to process this. He was in shock. Viper then did the signal for Hikari and Hikari grabbed Naruto's face and they engaged on a three-way kiss. The girls looked at each other. "Now!" yelled both in their heads as they sprang up and bit Naruto on the collarbone, each at one side. Naruto gasped in surprise, but found that he felt no pain whatsoever, just a little bit of heat on his collarbone. He then felt an urge and bit down on Hikari first. After he pulled away, he bit on Viper. Both gasped as they felt him bite them, and he saw a mark appear on their collarbone. Then darkness took over the three and they fell together on the bed, sleeping soundly. With Maiko was tied to bed, breathing hard after she had cum. Anko was putting a large double-side vibrator that they had just used on the table and was now joining Maiko on bed. As she untied Maiko, she heard her ask, "Do you think they are fine?" Anko smiled. "You know the ninja code. Old enough to kill besides, he is getting the writing of his life, of course he is fine." Maiko sighed at Anko's way of thinking, but she was probably right. So she decided not to think anymore as she embraced her and both fell asleep. At the Hokage's office, Sarutobi was on the floor, a huge nosebleed painting the ground. In the table, a crystal bowl was showing Naruto's room and the people in it. He had tried to check on him to see if everything was fine and found the sex scene of his life. So that is why he wanted the advanced henge scroll. Chapter 6 test this is. Naruto woke up the next day to feel two weights over him. He opened his eyes to see Hikari and Viper in their advanced henge state, snuggling up to him. He then looked at the two and saw a blue spiral-like tattoo in both of them, in the place he had beaten both last night. He knew what it was his mate Mark. He then heard a low whistle from the door. "Nice, shrimp. You got two hot pussies clinging hard to you and you are only 12. I am so proud of you," said Anko with mock tears in her eyes. "Anko? Get out," whispered angrily Maiko as she made Anko leave the bedroom. But before leaving, she spared one glance at the girls. "She is right, that's two nice pieces of ass if I ever seen any." Then she walked out. Naruto was red as a tomato. The only reason he wasn't yelling or moving was he didn't want to wake the girls yet. He was thinking to himself, "I'm gonna get you for this, Anko. And when I do, God have mercy on your soul because you will die of embarrassment." Just then, his two girls stirred. They opened their eyes and looked at Naruto, smiled up at him, then engaged the blonde in a three-way kiss. Naruto enjoyed this, but knew the moment Hikari was starting to bring her breasts closer to his face and Viper's tail coiling around his member that he had to remember that they needed to get up. "Girls, remember that we have to go to the academy to know which team we are in," said Naruto through grunts of pleasure. And now that we were just starting," said Hikari with a pout. "I agree, Hikari, but Naruto is right. Besides, we can have him tonight," said Viper with a predator smile. Naruto shivered under the smile. Then both girls looked at the collarbone and both smiled. "You should check out the new tattoos, Naruto. I think you are going to love it." Naruto got up, then went to the bathroom and saw himself in the mirror. At his right side of the collarbone, a red fox was howling. On the left side, a green viper was coiled. "They are cool, but you two have got a tattoo of your own," said Naruto. Instead of going to the bathroom, the girls decided to look at the tattoo in each other. Since it came from the same person, it was the same. They loved it. Then the three heard a voice. "Hey, are you three running up there or what?" "Anko," thought the three. Then Naruto got dressed in new equipment. His true ninja equipment. No more reason to kid around. Time to make others see he was dead serious at his dream. Becoming Hokage. So his ninja suit was dark blue cargo pants, bark blue shirt and green jonin-like jacket. He had a scroll in each pocket and the sleeves were a bit loose on his shirt to allow the serpents to come out when he used his serpent hand. His headband was in green cloth and he used dark blue ninja shoes. Both Hikari and Viper smiled at the change. He looked more professional, more mature, and definitely more powerful. Hikari took her position in his neck while Viper took her new position around his waist since he didn't use the open jacket anymore and by this she could pass as a belt. Naruto then jumped through the window and used his chakra to stuck on the wall. He walked down to the next window and saw it opened, as usual. He then entered through it and yelled good morning. Both Anko and Maiko smiled at Naruto. Then Anko sniggered. Trying to look like most jonins would, shrimp. You are still a genin. I know, but these makes others see I'm serious about becoming Hokage. Besides, I like the clothes. Answered Naruto. And no matter what, a ninja is always allowed to wear what he wants. Completed Maiko. That is why you, my dear Anko, are allowed to use such provocative clothes, I suppose. Sighed defeated Anko. But then she saw an opportunity waited for Naruto to start eating his pancake and so did Viper as she slithered to the table to start eating and Hikari too. All to ask so, how was the best rump of your life? The three unprepared victims had one reaction only. They gagged on the food. As they coughed, Michael looked at Anko sternly. You had to do it when they are eating. Hell yes. Their expressions were priceless. Yelled Anko. Naruto glared at Anko, renovating his threat that he would get her and humiliate her. But Viper and Hikari smirked. It was amazing. I didn't knew one could sew such things with an advanced henge. Yelled a happy Hikari. Anko got interested. What did he do? Viper then slithered up to her and whispered in her ear. Anko got a perverted smile on her face. Dada boy. I'm so proud. Maiko then coughed. Shouldn't you guys go to the academy? Naruto looked at the clock, then continued eating peacefully. Once he and the girls were done, he made the girls slither up his arm and off they went towards the academy jumping through rooftops as they went. At the academy, alright, everyone. I'm gonna read the list of teams now. Let's see said Iruka as he started with the teams. After a while Team 7. Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno and Sai. Your jounin is Kakashi Haddock. Sasuke did the traditional Uchiha agreement signal the HN. Sakura squealed like a pig and shouted about true love conquers all and some more insane stuff. Everyone looked at Sai and he said, simply what? Stop looking at me, I'm not showing you my everyone bristled in anger except for 3 persons that were in the ceiling, laughing quietly at his answer. Moving on, next we have Team 8. Shino Aburam, Hinata Hyuga and Kiba Inuzuka. Your jounin is Kurina Yuuhi. Shino nodded his head, Kiba snickered and Hinata well, behaved like always. Okay, Team 9 is still in circulation. So we go for Team 10. Ino Yamanaka, Choji Akimichi and Shikamaru Nara. Your jounin is Asuma Sarutobi. Ino banged her head, Choji looked a little sad at her reaction, but hid it from view with his bag of chips. Shikamaru snored. Then Ino raised her hand. Sir, what about Naruto? Iruka was about to answer her when Sasuke beat him to it and decided to be an asshole. He probably cheated and was forced to stay another year. I should have known no one was better than an Uchiha. Hey, Team No Stick Flipper. If you look up you will see the guy that can and will beat the crap out of you if you don't shut up. Everyone turned to the source of the voice to find Naruto hanging upside down from the ceiling. Girls got hearts in their eyes, guys whistled at the performance, and Sasuke was seething at this. Dope. How can you walk on the ceiling? I demand you to teach me. I'm an Uchiha. Yelled Sasuke, whining like a bitch. Yeah, Naruto, teach Sasuke what he wants. Yelled an equally annoying pink-haired banshee. Naruto then turned to Iruka. Iruka-sensei, those two just created a new jutsu. Whining like a bitch no jutsu. It's annoying and deadly I tell you. Everyone laughed at this. Sasuke got angry. You dope. You should feel proud that I, an Uchiha, is asking you, a nobody, to teach me. Naruto then turned to him and said, in a very calm voice well, if I am a nobody and you are a big bad Uchiha, then you don't need me. Naruto baka. You're just an orphan loser. Your parents were probably ashamed of you and left you behind. When those words were told, Viper and Hikari sprang to life. Viper threw herself at Sakura, enrolling her arms and making her punch herself. Hikari was preparing a jutsu. When she was ready, Viper released Sakura and Hikari yelled kitsune by Sakura was burned by a small flame in the chest and sent to the floor. How many times do we have to tell you? Akamaru would have gotten it the first time and he wouldn't need the beating. Yelled an enraged Hikari. Viper slithered over Sakura and started poking her head as she spoke, you will not say anything bad about Naruto-kun. She ended with a big slap of her tail. Then both came back to Naruto's grasp. There now, that is enough. Haruno team must have learned her lesson this time. Come on. Iruka has yet to tell us what is going to happen now. Said Naruto as he looked at Iruka expectantly. Iruka shook his head. Naruto will always be Naruto. He then looked at the paper and his eyes widened. WTF. Naruto, you were taken as an apprentice by Anko Midarashi. Everyone in the room was quiet, all had heard of Anko and were doing their silent praise for Naruto. But the most surprising thing came out of Naruto's mouth. Awesome. I get Anko as a teacher again, isn't that great, girls? Very much so. Said Viper in her usual calm voice. If we have Anko, we are sure to cause chaos and havoc wherever we go. Yeah. No hold back, just spreading pure destruction and embarrassment. Yelled Hikari. The kids looked in shock at the three. Were these guys crazy? Dude, you are in over your head. Said Kiba as he came closer to Naruto. Anko will fucking neuter you with a rusted kunai if you piss her off. Really? Asked Naruto. Last time I checked, it was with a spoon. No, Naruto-kun, it was with a piece of wire. Commented Hikari. You're both wrong, she threatened to give the guys balls to her snakes. Commented Viper. Tiba looked at the three, then shook his head. You are the dead man, not me. Well, not really. Said Naruto. He then called Shino, and when he was close he told both listen up, Kurenai is a man-hater except for Asuma. The reason why is that Asuma saved her from some guys that tried to rape her. In resume, you guys are screwed. Come on, she can't be that bad. Said Kiba. Naruto looked at him. Kiba, even if she doesn't do anything against you, she will most likely focus on the girl of your group, Hinata. And while she needs help as being the weakest of you three, she will do her best to ignore you guys. That could be problematic. Said Shino. If we can't learn with Kurenai, we are only allowed to get training from our clans. But even there, learning only clan jutsu can be a disadvantage against people who know how to counterattack our clan's techniques. Yeah, besides, mom is more focused on sis because she is going to be clan head. So I won't get that much training. Complained Kiba. Well, what about you guys train with me and Anko? The two turned to Naruto. What? Are you sure? Yes, she isn't that bad, just a bit sadistic and a slave driver, but she will get you tougher than any other teacher would, guaranteed. You saw how I performed in the genin exams. Kiba and Shino looked at each other. A sadistic teacher is better than an ignoring one. I think I'll take you on that offer, but only sometimes. Me too. After all, everything one can learn is never enough. Said Shino with his normal logic at work. Naruto grinned, then he looked down. Where is Hikari? And where is Viper? With Hikari was in this moment dragging a not-so-happy Ino outside of the room to talk. Look, me and Viper saw that you are interested in Naruto, and you are here to help me get him. Thank you so much. Yelled Ino. Hikari shook her head. No, it's just, you were going to tell me something important about him. Hikari's eyes were twitching as she looked at Ino. Why didn't I get to talk with Hinata again? No, you stupid fangirl, Naruto is taken already. Ino was in shock. What? By whom? Hikari then pointed at herself. You? Yes, me and Viper, by the use of this. As Hikari said that, she began a series of hand signs and turned to her private time form. Ino was in shock as she looked at her. So, I don't have a chance? Asked Ino. Hikari reverted back and said come on, quit being so dramatic already. You are beautiful Nat, I can tell when you are older you are going to be smoking hot. So stop being so down, you will find someone. But who? Sasuke is a lost cause after all, Billboard is already an advantage and Naruto is taken. First, Sakura has no chance with Sasuke, he is gay. Second, there are more boys than Sasuke and Naruto. What about that Akimichi? Taoji? You are kidding, he only cares about food. You may think that, but I could see the hurtful expression on his face when you banged with your head on the table. He cares about you. Besides, quit judging the book by the cape, it didn't came anything good from that until now. Ino then looked at the kitsune. She was right. Maybe she should give a chance to Chaoji. Who knows, maybe she will find something she likes on him. Thanks Hikari. Hikari nodded sure. Don't mention it. Just take your training seriously now, too. As Hikari was walking away, she couldn't stop the thought I'm never going to do this again. With Viper, I'm here, Hinata. We need to talk. Said Viper as she looked at the girl. What TT is it, VV Viper? Asked a nervous Hinata. Viper sighed, this was going to be tough. Hinata, I noticed you have an interest for Naruto. I want you to know that he is taken and what? Yelled a now more active and more frightening Hinata. Who is she? Viper gulped. Maybe I should have gotten Ino instead. Look, Hinata, it's me and Hikari. And before you kill me, there is something you need to know. Hinata glared at the little snake, which was freaky with those wide eyes of her. Naruto had a very hard life. Me and Hikari have been with him since we are 5, we know his suffering and pain. He was attacked by people he is now forced to protect. Hinata's eyes widened, but she continued hearing him. You think Naruto is going to support you, to be there for you. But he too needs support. He needs us. There is no easy way to say this, but you would be a harder burden on him, emotionally speaking. Hinata started crying. I knew I was weak. I'm so useless. No. No, that is not it. You are a wonderful person, just not what is best for Naruto. Look, there are more guys than Naruto who would gladly be with you. Boo. Well, Kiba. He may be a bit of a knucklehead, but he has a great heart and is faithful as a dog. What else can you ask for? Hinata then thought about it. She was right, Kiba never gave up on anyone he considered a friend. He was goofy but fun to be with. You are right. I know I am. Now come on, back in class. We have to wait for our teachers. Back in class, Naruto was still looking around for Viper and Hikari when both slithered his way and ended on their normal places. There you are. What the fuck were you two doing? We were getting rid of some competition and playing matchmakers. Responded an all too happy Hikari. Naruto shook his head at her antics. Then he froze for a second, then jumped to the right as a kunai passed a few millimeters away from his face. Reaction time. Satisfactory. Choose of evading technique. Undesirable. You are getting sloppy, shrimp. Naruto looked up to find Anko on the ceiling. That is because I wasn't expecting you to attack me like that, you crazy snake lady. Anko grinned at Naruto. It was just too much fun to mess with. But that is the thing about ninja life. You got to expect the unexpected. Naruto grumbled at this. Then he asked, so, let's go. Anko grinned again. Impatient for your torture, huh? Fine, go to training ground 44. I'll be there, in the tower at the middle of it. Iruka paled. The forest of death. Naruto doesn't stand a chance. Naruto grinned. Fine. See you there in a bit. And with that, Naruto left through the window and Anko went poof. You still think it is worth to train with those two? Asked a now unsure Kiba. My logic says yes, because by the skills they demonstrate, their method works. However, I cannot stop being nervous about the idea myself. Answered Shino. In the tower, at the forest of death, Anko was eating some dango, waiting for her apprentice. He is late. What is he? Where the fuck is my dango? As Anko looked down, a plate filled with dango was gone and in its place was a card that had a red fox, a green serpent and a spiral around both. Anko's eyes were ablaze. Gaki, give me back my dango. What will I gain with it? Asked Naruto, though she couldn't pinpoint his location. Come on, shrimp. This isn't funny. Yelled Anko. Oh, but it is. Especially since we hate it already. As Naruto said this, an empty plate fell in the floor. Anko threw herself on the floor. No. Bastard. How could you? Oh my sweet dango. Then she heard Naruto say in cut. What an incredible performance. Anko turned to look and saw Naruto, seating where she was, with a plate filled with her dango. Then she looked at Naruto and saw a camera. She looked at the ground and found nothing. Ninjutsu? You caught me with a jinjutsu? Asked an incredulous Anko. No, they did. And as Naruto said that, he pointed towards Hikari and Viper, who were at a different side of the room. I only caught you on tape. Revenge is so sweet. Anko then looked at the ground, ashamed. Yeah, you won this one, kid. Naruto was surprised. You are not going to force me to destroy the tape. Threaten me. Throw a snake or two at me. No. You won this one, fair and square. I may regret this, but you can keep the tape. Said Anko. Well, if you insist. Said Naruto. Okay kiddo. I have to do some sort of genin exam to you to see if you are good enough to be a genin under my orders. However, it is normally to test teamwork and if I try to test the teamwork of you three, I'm screwed. So this exam is 3 parts. Info gathering, survival skills and the final test. Said Anko in glee. Naruto shrugged. Bring it on. Okay, first part, information gathering. You will describe me the genins, the teams and the jounins. I will then evaluate your information gathering skills. Does that include Team 9? Because I haven't met them yet. Asked Naruto. Consider yourself lucky for that and no, Team 9 is not in the group. Just this year's genins. Okay, easy. Most genins are going to fail, though I feel 3 are going to pass. Team 7, 8 and 10. Starting with Team 7, because I heard Kakashi is an Uchiha fanboy of sorts and will pass the team just to have Sasuke on it. Kakashi Haddock is the so-called copy ninja that used his implanted Sharingan to copy more techniques than he can remember. He walks around with a mask covering his face most of the time, has a hair that defiles gravity and is always seen reading porn. He may have skill, but he is arrogant. Preference for ninjutsu. Next, the members. Sasuke is a pampered bastard who thinks the world owns him everything. He has minor skills and is considered one of the best because the teachers pull their punches on him, so he gets it easier. Sakura is a worthless pink-haired banshee whose purpose in life is raising Sasuke's ego. Sai is a mystery, but probably the strongest on the group. As a team, they are probably strong hitter and assault group. He mate with Kurenai as a jounin now. Kurenai is a man-hater that dates the son of the Hokage and is the youngest jounin at the moment. She is a bit shy about herself and I don't know anything more than she prefers Yunjutsu. The members are Hinata, who is now the weakest in the team, with low self-esteem and shy attitude. As Naruto said that, Viper thought shy. Low self-esteem. She would have killed me if she hadn't given me the chance of explaining myself. She is from the clan Hyuga, which means she has the Byakugan. Her only skills are Taijutsu. Next is Kiba. He is an Inyazuka, which means he has a partner, Akamaru. He is a bit goofy and loud, like any Inyazuka. But he has good skills in Taijutsu and an iron will. He has a lot of potential and will get far if he gets the right training. Finally, it's Shino. He is the typical Aburam. Logical and smart. His physical abilities are not that great, but he compensates with analytical power. This team is a tracker and information gathering team. Then, Team 10. Jounin Asuma is perhaps the most balanced of the three Jounins, as he don't seem to have a preferred field. He is a easygoing person, a bit lazy, and likes to play strategy games like shogi. His team is made of the new Ino Shikacho group. Ino is a fangirl who spends more time improving her looks than her skills. Though I'm sure that if she gives up her fangirlish habits, she can become a powerful kunoichi. Bakari smirked at this. Oh, she will become a better kunoichi, sooner than what you believe. Then, there is Chaoji. Typical Akamichi, big guy, always eating, but still a nice person. He has what it takes to become a strong ninja. Shikamaru is just plain lazy, but really smart. He doesn't need to make an effort because beforehand he made at least 13 plans, and most are really complex. This team is a capture and interrogation squad. Anko grinned. Yup, good enough. Not bad, kiddo. So what is next? Asked Naruto. Oh, nothing much. Just that I'm going to chase you in the forest of death for a few hours. Then Anko got up and said, come, Naruto. Said Anko. I'll give you a 30 seconds of head start. Then, it's time to play. A few hours later, Naruto was on the floor, sweating a fountain and breathing hard. Anko wasn't kidding. He felt like a rabbit running away from a tiger. She would appear in random places and throw a kunai at him and again. He was getting sick of it. Not only that, but she would sprang traps against him. Bakari and Viper were using their advanced senses to help their poor mate, but even them weren't perfect, and this was just a level too high. Just then, Anko appeared in front of Naruto, kunai in one hand, ready to stab our poor hero when congratulations, Gaki. You passed. Wait, what? The time is up. You are really becoming good at this, kid. Naruto smiled, but then he remembered the final test. Do I really have to do that final test? Yes, you do. Seeing him slump down, she laughed. You will like this task. I am telling you. Now, your job is to prank Kakashi. Naruto was quiet, then he jumped, full of energy once again, and yelled really? Yes, really. Now come on, I know where he is. And Anko started jumping through the trees, Naruto right behind her. In the middle of a street, Kakashi was walking around, minding his own business, checking if the new series of Icha Paradise was already out when he felt someone pulling on his sleeve. He looked and saw the kid he hated the most. What do you want, kid? Naruto smiled to him. I want you to meet a friend. Kakashi looked at him like he was a moron. This is the kid that became Rookie of the Year. Impossible. He is an idiot. Oh really? And who would be friend with you? She would. And as Naruto said that, he threw Viper at Kakashi, who was too slow, and Viper bit him. In a second or less, Kakashi was dizzy and fell on the floor. Viper, time. 30 minutes till he wakes up. Said Viper. Perfect. 30 minutes later, Kakashi woke up, feeling like shit. He tried to open his eye only to find out he couldn't. Someone had blindfolded him. Then he felt someone hitting him in the balls with something hard. He was in pain and felt another strike coming to his head. What the fuck is going on in here? Apparently, Naruto had snuck Kakashi into the women's side of the hot springs, got him all naked, tied him up, blindfolded him, gagged him and put a sign saying I'm a pervert trying to quit. Please hit me. Due to Kakashi's fame, the women actually believed that and were beating the shit out of him. Naruto stood at the distance, showing Anko what he did with a picture he had taken just before leaving. Anko was rolling on the floor, laughing hard. Oh god, kid, that was fucking brilliant. Congratulations, you pass. Now I got to go to meet the Hokage to tell him the news and the prank. Before Naruto could say anything, she had disappeared with a swirl of leaves. At the Hokage's office, Anko had just appeared there. Hope I'm not late. Said Anko in a jovial voice. No, we are still waiting for Kakashi. Answered Hiruzen. Oh, you can wait till tomorrow, the guy ain't coming. Said Anko before she burst out laughing. Every jounin looked at her like she was insane. What do you mean, Anko? Anko then pulled the photo and showed everyone. After seeing the photo, everyone was quiet. Then a PFF was heard as Kurenai was losing it. In a second, all were laughing at the prank. Comments of he deserved it and nicely done were heard. And you don't know the best. Everyone turned to her. The best is it wasn't me, it was Naruto who did this. New round of laughter was heard, though some were seething at the demon's audacity. Sarutobi whipped a tear out of his eye. How did Naruto found the time to do that after your test? But, Hokage-sama, it was the test. Some were already clutching their stomachs from laughter. Very well, Anko. You may leave now, before you kill every jounin of laughter. And with that, Anko disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Chapter 7. Do we really have to help them? Throughout the next week, Anko has been teaching Naruto all the tricks she could. She discovered that he had 3 elements. Fire, wind and electricity. Together they formed an element that Kyuubi characterized as plasma, which seemed to be fire with enormous speed, and unlike with the fire element, he could make it out of air, like wind element. It was the true element of Kyuubi, and the true reason his roars seemed to fire beams of power. As so, Naruto learned one technique for each element. First was the fire style. Fire Dragon Jutsu, the second was wind style. Great Breakthrough, and the third was thunder style. Lightning Spear. He learned a plasma jutsu from Kyuubi. Plasma style. Plasma Volleys Jutsu. Viper had become more versed in her clan arts. She now had the Stare of Illusions, similar to the Sharingan. It allowed her to put a person in illusion just by looking at that person, with the bonus of getting that person under one's control while the technique is being used. She actually learned this power by mistake. Flashback. Oh, come on. Why is this so complicated? I thought the stare would take me some minutes, but it has been 2 hours and nothing. Said Viper. She got so frustrated she threw her book on the floor. Naruto got in the room. What is wrong, Viper? Are you alright? Yeah, I thought that learning the illusion stare would be easy. But it is so difficult. Complained Viper. Well, don't worry, I know you can do it. You are probably stressed and that is why it is not working. Viper nodded. Yes, that could be true. I am stressed. I wish I could have a massage now. Without knowing, her Stare of Illusions had been activated and caught Naruto. Naruto came to her, put his hands on her serpentine body, and started massaging it. Viper's eyes widened before she closed them, drowsy and feeling better than ever. Oh my god, it's like he read my mind. But wait a second, she then opens her eye lazily and looks at Naruto's eyes. He looks like he is on a Jinjutsu. I did it. I have my Stare of Illusions. And he does such wonderful massages. Hey, Viper, have you seen Naruto? Asked Hikari as she came into the room. No fair. I go out and you get a massage. I want one too. This actually woken Naruto because Viper still had a poor control on the technique. What happened? Flashback end. Not only did she got now a better control over her technique, but she learned the Fang of Slow Weakness. If one was hit by this technique, it would lose his strength little by little until he or she was too weak to keep going. It was a deadly power. She also learned Water Style. Water Snake Strike. Together with Naruto's Thunder Style Jutsu, they created a collaboration jutsu called Collaboration Jutsu. Hydroelectric Snake Strike. The Kari wasn't a sloth either. She learned the talisman spell that allowed her to create a barrier around herself and others with the form of the yin-yang symbol. She also grew another tail and was now able to use Foxtail Fireball, which was a minor technique that created fire from the tips of the tails and threw them at the opponent. It was minor and is actually a pre-technique because the true technique is Foxtail Inferno. However, to use that, one must have at least 6 tails. Finally, she learned the Kitsune Perception Filter, which was a Jinjutsu that allowed any Kitsune to become completely invisible. Their sizes had changed, and the changes were very obvious. Viper was a bit longer, being able to enroll herself around his torso and lay her head on his left shoulder, and Hikari now reached over his knee. Their advanced jutsu didn't change sizes, and that was a relief. Naruto seriously didn't want to be on bed with 2 giants. It would be a bit problematic. Hiba and Shino would sometimes train with that and soon learned that they had to pick up the pace because the training was hard. Even so, Kiba learned Thunder Style. Lightning Sparks and improved into Jutsu a lot. Shino learned Earth Style. Mud Wall and also became stronger into Jutsu Sense. Naruto and Anko never did a single D-rank mission. When Naruto asked why, Maiko was the one that explained D-rank missions are for genins to work their teamwork. As you and your girls already have perfect teamwork and you don't have any other genin in the team, it is useless to do these missions. Besides, this so-called missions are chores from the lazy-ass civilians who can't just do the jobs themselves because they are too busy complaining about everything. When Naruto asked why they didn't do any C-rank either, Anko said Sarutobi asked us to wait a few months before doing any C-rank mission. Until then, I'm going to pound you to the ground with training. And she did. Which is why they were standing in front of the Hokage Tower, ready to receive their first mission. Remember, Shrimp, even if it is a C rank, don't get your hopes up. It is probably some escort mission to some boring place. The best we can hope is for some stupid missing nin to come and mess with us, and even then most missing nins don't attack random people. Said Anko. Yeah, still I can't stop but be excited, you know. It might be boring, but still it is awesome that I finally get my first mission. Yelled a content Naruto. Indeed, even though training is good, it is also good to do a mission. Getting pied would come in handy for us. Said Viper. Yeah, because then Naruto can buy some treats for us. Candy. As Hikari yelled at Viper, Naruto and Anko sweat dropped. You are too much addicted to candy, you know that. Said Naruto as he and Anko started walking into the Hokage Tower, Viper slithering on his right and Hikari slithering on his left. But I love candy. It is so sweet. Said Hikari in a begging voice. And I never complained about your ramen addiction. Hey, ramen is the food of gods. You shouldn't joke about it. Argued Naruto. Anko shook her head and sighed. Both turned to her and don't you start, sensei, your addiction to dango can't be good. Hey, don't get dango involved. Yelled Anko. Viper laughed at the following discussion. By then they had reached the Hokage's office and he and Iruka were looking at them like they were all crazy. Viper slithered silently to Iruka. Good morning, Iruka-sensei. Good morning, Viper. What this is all about? Asked Iruka. Food. When Viper said that, both Iruka and Sarutobi sweat dropped as a fight started between the three. Yells of dango, ramen, and candy filled the air. Why aren't you in the middle of that fight? Asked Iruka, surprised at the only member behaving sanely in the group. Why would I fight about food? It's pointless. Asked Viper, getting nods of understanding from both Iruka and Sarutobi. Besides, nothing beats barbecued pork. Silence in the room. Then Naruto, Anko and Hikari turned to Viper and yelled liar. Viper narrowed her eyes and threw herself into the fight. It became a crazy fight where fangs, claws, arms, legs were all tangled and in cartoon dust cloud formed around them as they continued. Sarutobi's pipe fell and Iruka got fed up with the show. Alright, stop that. Didn't you come to get a mission? What if the client saw you behaving like that? In an instant, all were back to normal. Naruto, Anko, Hikari and Viper stood in a line, clean like they hadn't been in a fight just a second before. Sarutobi blinked, grabbed his pipe from the ground and said I'm glad you are here, I have a mission for you. As the others got excited, Sarutobi opened a drawer and there was an Icha book. Sarutobi grew red in the face as everyone in the room sniggered at what they saw. Ups, wrong drawer. I would ask you not to tell this to anybody, please. You are lucky we are the only woman in this room and that we don't really care about your choice in books, old man. Joked Anko. Because with that type of material, you could get yourself in serious shit with the feminine side. Sarutobi coughed to his hand as he opened another drawer. Ha, here it is. He then brought a mission request to the table. I want you to read it, Anko. Anko grabbed it and started reading. She then said sir, I think you got the wrong scroll. This scroll's mission has already been taken, see the signature of Kakashi here. Said Anko as she pointed to the signature. Yes, I'm aware of that. Said Sarutobi as he looked at both of them, unsure of how to ask them. You see, Kakashi thought his students were ready for a C-rank mission and I gave him that one. However, it seems that the mission was not a C-rank, but actually a A rank. So, call them back and send an Anbu team, I'm sure they can take care of it. Said Anko, not getting the point of this discussion. That is the way written in the protocol, yes. However, it seems Kakashi's team doesn't wish to abandon this mission and request only some backup. That is when Team Anko understood what he was aiming at and glared at Sarutobi with hate in their eyes. You mean to tell me we have to help this perverted, useless, ego-driven Cyclops and his team of losers? Why not send an Anbu team? I know you don't like the situation, but I have plenty of reasons for this. 1. My Anbu teams are out and the only Jounins I have here are out of duty at the moment. More than that, this job comes with some bonus for both of you. Both ninja became interested on this. I will grant you, Anko, captain status. This means that while on this mission, you are on charge. Even of Kakashi. Should Kakashi or any of the genin show any disrespect or disobeys you, you are allowed to handle the required punishment that goes through a written report about his or her behaviors to a full charge on the students, which then is going to be evaluated by me, who will decide the final fate of the Jounin. Do you, Naruto? I will grant you the second in command status. Just like the name says, you are second in command and not even Kakashi is above you. You have the same privileges as Anko, with the added rule that Anko is still above you. Sir, is it wise to put Naruto at that chain of command? Asked Iruka. He is just a genin. Naruto, if your students went against you in an order, what would you do? Asked Sarutobi, in such a voice that Naruto responded mechanically. I would knock out said student, write a report about their behavior, and then I would keep the student in permanent restraint while I carry on the orders. See, Iruka. Naruto is a genin and yet shows a better judgment than Kakashi. Surely such a person should be the one in charge. Said Sarutobi as if he was saying the biggest truth in the world. Wait, he is. I guess, said Iruka as he thought about it. Anyway, you got your orders, any questions? Asked Sarutobi. Sir. Said Viper. If it is an A-rank mission, do we get the payment of it or is it cut in half because it's a joint mission? Well, considering Kakashi is not following the protocol, I would say the money goes to your team. And if Kakashi complains, don't worry, show him this seal. Said the Hokage as he handed them a paper. And he will quiet down about it. Sir. What about us? Will we get any authority or is it just Naruto and Anko? Asked Hikari. Well, since you are considered summons, you get as much authority as your summoners. So you get as much authority as Naruto. However, try not to abuse of that privilege, would you? Okay. Yelled both girls. No more questions. Then go to the land of waves, dismissed. Said Sarutobi as they left the office. But Anko and Naruto. Okay, Naruto. Get ready anything that may be necessary. If when I reach the gates you don't have the right things packed, I will force you to stay while I do this mission. Said Anko as she vanished in a poof of smoke. Fine, come on girls, let's pack things up. Yelled Naruto as he began running, Viper slithering to his left and Hikari running to his right. At the gates, Anko was walking to the gates, trying to give time to Naruto to prepare himself. She was mildly surprised when she saw him, sleeping on the ground, with no bag whatsoever, Hikari on his lap, and Viper coiled around him. So where are your stuff? Asked Anko as she looked at the three. Naruto pulled a scroll and said here. I have 50 shurikens, 40 kunai and 20 explosive papers. I also have 2 tents in case you forgot yours, and also I have a lighter and for food I have some packed meals, which in the scroll don't rotten, that will allow both of us a meal for at least 2 weeks, which is more than enough time to get to the land of waves and be back, since we will probably be there in 3 days or something. Anko smiled. Maiko taught you well. She always packed more than she needed in a scroll because then she was ready for anything. Good job, Shrimp, I'm proud of you. Now, let's move. Anko then started running with Naruto running behind her, Hikari and Viper not far behind. A little far ahead. What are we waiting for? Let's just move out already. We don't need any backup. Demanded Sasuke as he looked at Kakashi. Yeah, Kakashi-sensei. Let's just go. The backup team is probably some losers. We don't need them. Yelled Sakura. Shut up you ugly whore. Your ugly pink hair is already a beacon in the middle of this woods, we don't need your deafening voice to attract more enemies. Said Sai in an emotionless voice. Sai gets a cookie for that one. Sai, don't be like that with your partners. Reprimanded Kakashi in a juvenile voice while reading his porn. Then he turned to the others. I'm sorry, but we will have to wait for the Anbu team to get here and then we can move on. Are you sure those Anbu are coming? I really need protection, you know. Said Tazuna. Who said anything about an Anbu team? Everyone turned to find Anko standing there. Oh, Anko-chan. So you are my backup? Asked Kakashi. Yeah, me and the Gaki who is burning your precious book. Said Anko in a very calm voice. Kakashi looked at his hand and found it empty. He looked around and saw Naruto, near the fire, burning his book. He gave the biggest girl scream in the world and then prepared his Chidori, ready to kill Naruto. Kakashi, you don't want to attack your superior, do you? Asked Anko in a sweet voice. What? What are you talking about? Asked Kakashi, confused. I mean, Naruto and I are your superiors. Said Anko as she showed him the Hokage's paper. Kakashi was shocked as he activated the seal, got a scroll out of it and read the truth. Sasuke decided to be an ass at that point. Him? I don't accept orders from him. I demand to be team leader. Yelled Sasuke, only for Naruto to appear and hit him in the face, sending him to the ground. This of course would provoke a lot of banshee screams if Viper hadn't coiled herself around Sakura's neck. Sasuke, I have the authority to end your career as a ninja. So you and your pink-haired man whore better show me some respect or things will not end well for you. Said Naruto in a serious voice that would make Orochimaru scared. Azuna was in shock. What the fuck? Why wasn't I given this team in the first place? They are not only more professional, they are fucking stronger than this whining bitches I got as my first team. I hope your team gets the rules soon or this shit will end badly, Kakashi. Said Anko as she watched the pathetic show. Naruto then turned to Sai who was walking towards him. Sai then extended his hand. I would like to thank you for shutting up that sorry excuse of a Kunoichi. Naruto was surprised, then smiled and shook his hand. I'm glad someone from this team is sane, I would hate to have to teach all of you a lesson. Yes, I realize that you are far superior in your skill if you were able to prank Anbu and the Hyugas. Naruto's eyes widened. You know about that. Yes, I made a research about all the genins in case I would ever had to work with them so I could adapt to them. Said Sai. Naruto nodded to that. He had a feeling Sai wasn't such a bad guy. Maybe he could get Anko to request Sai to their team. The guy seemed to have a great analysis power so he would be helpful. Alright, you two, stop talking and get moving. We have a bit of walking to do before we reach the land of waves. Said Anko as she started to walk. Naruto immediately yelled you heard her, move. And with that, everyone started walking again. It was quiet until Anko got near Kakashi and asked, "So, what made you ask for backup?" "We found the demon brothers on the road. I thought it was better to call for help." Anko stopped. "Wait, you found the demon brothers and you are still going forward? What the fuck were you thinking?" "What? What did I do now?" asked Kakashi, confused. "Idiot, do you even know who always comes with the demon brothers?" asked Anko. "No. Zabuza Mamachi. He is a fucking jounin," said Anko. "So, we are two. We can beat him. You don't understand. He is master of the silent kill technique. He is able to kill just by hearing the person. Your genins are nowhere near ready to face that. And yours is?" asked Kakashi in a cocky tone. "Yes, as a matter of fact, he is. He is ready to face anything you can throw at him. You know why? Because I busted his ass training him every fucking day. I put him through death situations at least once per day. And he keeps asking for more, he keeps going. Your filthy maggots couldn't stay a day of his training. So Kakashi, I'm pretty confident about my genin." Kakashi didn't really believe her. He thought she was probably overrating her student. But then he noticed the fox with two tails trotting next to Naruto. "Kyuubi!" yelled Kakashi as he threw some kunai towards Hikari. Hikari used her tails to deflect the kunais and jumped away as Kakashi came onto her, trying to stab her with an extra kunai in his hand. Before he could understand what was happening, Naruto had grabbed his hand, applied a knee to his groin, and jabbed his elbow in his face, sending him down. Anko smirked. "See what I meant, Kakashi? This kid could have killed you just now. And you ask me if my student is ready? Oh, I think he is." Kakashi got up. "Naruto, get out of my way so I can kill it. That is an order," said Kakashi in a commanding voice. The answer he got was not the one he expected. "First, you cannot give me orders, I'm your superior in this mission. Second, Hikari is a she, not an it. Finally, Hikari not only is my summon guardian, she is my mate. What makes you think I would just let you kill her?" Kakashi was shocked. Why your mate? Yeah. And is not the only one. Viper over there is my mate too. Are you going to try and kill her too? Because if you are, I might as well get rid of you right now. Watch who you are talking to, I'm still a jounin," yelled Kakashi. "The only thing that makes you a jounin is that ruby eye. Without it, you wouldn't be a challenge to me." "Enough, Naruto," said Anko. "As much as I would like to see you beating the shit out of him, we need to go on so we will reach Tazuna's house today." So they kept going. At the river, they had reached the river, there was only one boat and was not big enough for all. Sai analyzed the situation and said, "Some of us will have to swim to the other side." Immediately, Sasuke and Sakura went to the boat and sit there, like saying we are too good to swim. Anko snorted at their behavior, then said, "Sai, Kakashi, join your team members. Me and Naruto are going by water." Sasuke smirked. "Seems like you are in for a swim, dope." "You wish. I'm so awesome I can walk on water," said Naruto. Sasuke looked shocked. "He can't, can he?" "No, the dope is just trying to act cool. It is impossible." Apparently, Sakura had the same thoughts. "Naruto baka, that is impossible. Don't try to look cooler just to get me to date you because I want." Naruto looked at her. "Haruno-san, you seem to suffer from short memory loss. Didn't I say a moment ago that Viper and Hikari are my mates? Why would I want to date an ugly pink troll with the smallest assets in the world when I can have the most wonderful of mates?" As he said that, both Viper and Hikari blushed. Sakura snorted. "Yeah, right. You are so desperate, you have to date some mindless animals. You are such a loser." The air grew thicker as a cloud of killing intent appeared. Everyone gasped as they felt the crushing power of it. It had three sources. Naruto, Viper and Hikari, and the three seemed to be the only ones not affected. Anko was too, but the moment she felt it, she got out of the range of the Kai before it was too much for her. Suddenly, Viper snapped and quickly slithered to Sakura. She then used her tail as a whip and whipped the girl in the face. "He is not desperate." As she said that, she coiled her tail around her neck and threw her to Hikari, who proceeded to use a weaker version of the foxtail hammer and hit Sakura in the head. "He is not a loser." Naruto then walked up to Sakura, grabbed her and brought her to his face. "They are not mindless animals." As he said that, he hit Sakura in the stomach with a deadly punch. Sakura fell on the floor, clutching her injured belly. "Now get on the boat, Haruno. Before I write a report that could end your ninja career permanently," yelled Naruto. Sakura looked at Sasuke as if to see if he was going to defend her. Instead, Sasuke was ignoring the show. Her eyes filled with tears as she jumped into the boat. Kakashi then turned to Anko. "Are you sure you can carry those three through water?" "What? Who said anything about carrying him and his girlfriends? They can walk on water just fine." Kakashi's eyes widened. "That is not possible, he shouldn't be able to walk on water. How did you taught him that already?" Anko smiled. "You wanna know the crazy part? The real icing in the cake with this kid? He already knew before I got him as a student. And with that, Anko walked to the left side of the boat, Viper on her side, while Naruto and Hikari were on the right side. As soon as the boat entered the water, the two ninjas and the two summons started traveling on water. Ninjas are descendants of Jesus Christ. They can walk on water. All in the boat were in awe as they saw those four just walking or slithering in some cases on water. Anko smirked at their faces. What? Never saw a person walking on water. It's easy. Speak for yourself. Yelled Viper. If you haven't noticed, this is much harder for me as I have to expel chakra from all over my body just to keep afloat. It's a good thing my chakra control is near perfect. Anko rubbed the back of her head. Gomen, Viper. I didn't consider that. Sorry. No problem. Said Viper as she kept sliding through the waters. This didn't make the odd faces disappear, which made an old fox laugh his head off. Look at their faces. Hahaha, it's priceless. Hahaha, what a bunch of wimps. It is funny, look at the banshee, she looks like her eyes will pop out of her skull. That is nothing, look at Sasuke, he looks like he is going to shit himself. There is one reaction that leaves me perplexed, though. What? That Sai kid, he was looking at the four of you, then started writing something. Curious, Naruto went to check out what Sai was writing without being caught by him. Walking on water. I'm not sure yet, but I believe the trick lies in a constant flow of chakra to the water by the under part of the foot, pumping the chakra in a circle-like movement around the feet to allow the body to stay floating. Naruto smiled. He is definitely smart, his mind explores the technique secrets, and he is probably able to learn said techniques after studying them for some time. Shino would love to meet this guy. A few moments later, they saw the bridge. Sakura couldn't contain herself and said, "Wow, it's huge. Uruno-san, we are in a low visibility territory with unknown enemies who could be trying to hunt us down," said Naruto in a dead voice. "What I am trying to say is thank you for making our enemy's job easier by telling them where we are." Sakura was about to yell when Viper jumped into the boat and grabbed her throat with her tail. "Didn't you hear him? Just shut up already," said Viper in an angry whisper. Sakura decided not to tempt death and stayed quiet. After they had reached the banks they continued on foot. That is, until Naruto threw a kunai into the woods. Everyone rushed there and found a white frightened rabbit. "Naruto baka. Are you trying to scare us or something? Poor bunny," yelled Sakura. Naruto ignored her as he talked with Kyuubi. "Hey Kyuubi. Doesn't this seems odd? The rabbit is white, but it's summer. That means it was kept in captivity. Which means it was used as a substitution medium. And if your ears are picking the sounds right, I would say that whoever it was just threw a giant sword towards you." Naruto immediately yelled, "Get down." And he threw himself and his girls to the ground. The others did the same, with Anko bringing Tazuna with her. Not that he minded one bit since he felt her breasts pressed on the back of his head. The sword hit a 3 and over it appeared a man. "Good ears, Gaki. Maybe there is still hope for you." "Who are you?" asked Kakashi. Anko looked at Kakashi. "Seriously, are you that ignorant or don't you even read the bingo book anymore?" She then turned towards the stranger. "That is Zabuza Mamachi. Correct? And right now, I want to kill the bridge builder." Chapter 8 Zabuza Fight My Version. Everybody tensed as they looked at Zabuza. Anko, Naruto, Kakashi and surprisingly Sai each took a position. Naruto went in front of Tazuna and acted as a body shield with Sai on his side. Anko was near Kakashi and had a kunai and Kakashi was in a battle stance, ready to strike. The rest was just looking at Zabuza like idiots. "Who the hell is this guy?" asked Sasuke. "And why are you all so scared anyway? He is just one." Viper looked incredulous to Sasuke. "Are you crazy? That guy is Zabuza, the demon of the bloody mist. A Jonin-level missing nin specialist in the art of silent killing and known to have killed all his colleges in his genin exam. How can you not be tense?" Zabuza looked at Viper with interest. "A snake? No, a serpent. I heard about your clan. I myself looked for the contract for ages. Who is your summoner, little one? I'm interested to know the person had succeeded where I failed." Viper smiled. "The genin you complimented just a moment ago. And he has 2 contracts, you better watch out." Zabuza looked at the kid, then at the fox near him, and chuckled. "You keep getting more and more interesting, kid. You make me have hope on new green genins. Try to survive, it would be a waste to end the career of such promising ninja." Naruto bowed his head. "It is an honor to be recognized by someone of your level, Zabuza Mamachi. But perhaps you should consider the odds. 2 jounins, 4 genins and 2 summons. You think you can win? Your only chance is using some sort of technique to hide your presence and try the silent killing you are so praised for." Zabuza chuckled again. "Clever little pipsqueak. You already discovered my plan. Hidden mist jutsu." Suddenly, a heavy mist fell on the team. They were all looking around, trying to spot the enemy. "Where did he go?" asked Sasuke. "You stupid ass. Come here and cover Tazuna. It is your job," whispered Naruto. "Naruto baka. Stop yelling at Sasuke-kun. yelled Sakura, only for Hikari to smack her with her tails and whisper angrily in her ear, quiet. He is trying to use the sound you make to find us. Do you want to be killed or something? Because if that is the case, then I can do the honors. Sakura's eyes widened and she shut up, more out of fear for Hikari than for Zabuza. Zabuza laughed. If this is the best you can do, it will be easy to hunt all of you. Just for you kiddies, I might show you what you will have to face with me. And with that said, the field was filled with killing intent. 5 people fought the killer intent with their own. Naruto, Anko, Kakashi, Viper and Hikari. The rest was having a hard time breathing with all the killing intent in the air. So this is what a jounin battle is all about. I can't stand it. Must kill myself to escape this. And with that thought, Sasuke grabbed a kunai and was bringing it to his throat. People around the world reading this started cheering, die. 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 Sasuke, don't worry. Said Kakashi reassuringly. I will protect us all. Sasuke regained his wits. People around the world, damn. So close. Fuck you Kakashi. But then a voice said I wouldn't be so sure if I was you. But as the demon of the mist was about to attack, he underestimated Hikari's hearing. Above. Yelled Hikari and Naruto jumped up and spin around hitting Zabuza's sword which the latter used to defend himself. This pushed both away from each other. You just keep surprising me again and again, kiddo. Admitted Zabuza. He had a good teacher. Said Anko behind Zabuza. He jumped in time as a massive number of snakes came out of her sleeves. He cut them with his sword and was about to go for the kill when Oxtail Fireball. Yelled Hikari as she moved her tails, creating 2 fireballs that rushed to her opponent. Zabuza did some quick hand signs. Water style. Water wall. The fireballs hit a gigantic wall of water that appeared around Zabuza. But what he wasn't expecting was that Naruto would use that. Thunder style. Lightning spear. 1 spear for Naruto, 1 giant hell of a shock for Zabuza. But as he was electrified, he turned into water. Then, another Zabuza appeared and stabbed Naruto in the ribs, only for the Naruto to disappear in smoke. It seems I'm not the only one prepared. Said Zabuza as he disappeared. Anko, Naruto and Hikari resumed their places. Kakashi, what are you doing? You have the fucking Sharingan, use it. Whispered Anko, angry at the scarecrow that didn't even move. And he is the one giving motivational speeches. This guy is fucking lame. Right. Said Kakashi as he pulled his headband up to show a Sharingan eye. Naruto growled at the eye, being the bringer of much pain to him in the past. His mates were trying to soothe him, while also sending glares to Kakashi. Sasuke gasped. The Sharingan. But only Uchihas can have it. Is Kakashi an Uchiha? So I finally get to see the famous Sharingan. This is going to be tough. The voice of Zabuza was heard. He again underestimated Hikari's hearing. Oxtail Fireball yelled Hikari as she threw 2 fireballs. Naruto then decided to add up. Blind style. Great breakthrough. The 2 attacks then fused. Collaboration jutsu. Kitsune Fire Tornado. Yelled both as a raging tornado was created. Zabuza had to use all his speed just to avoid the ball. That thing is deadly. I have to try and avoid that or I'm screwed. But then Hikari's ear twitched. There is someone else. Over there. She pointed to some trees. Okay. Yelled Anko. Naruto, you and your girls take care of whoever it is. Kakashi, lend me a hand here. We are facing a demon. The rest, protect the bridge builder. Naruto and his crew disappeared, leaving the others where they were. This did not sit well with Sasuke. Why does the dope gets to fight and I have to stay here? I'm an Uchiha, the elite of elites. Yes, and a very loud one at that. Mocked Zabuza as he once again appeared in front of them. Forget it, kid, you can't even resist my simple killing intent without your babysitter saying sweet nothings to you, how are you an elite? Sasuke seethed at this. I'll show you. And with that, Sasuke ran towards Zabuza. With Naruto, around the place, making him get behind the place where his enemy was. It seemed that it was in Hunter Nin. He got behind him, using Hikari's help to go unnoticed as she cast a Jinjutsu around him. He felt her chakra and it felt like a Chunin level chakra. And Hunter Nin with this level of chakra. Don't let looks deceive you, kid. That girl is just as young as you are, but she appears to have taken her training seriously, so her chakra is well developed. Of course, she didn't got the training you had, nor the teachers you did. Still it is impressive that one such as her is this developed. Are you sure it is a girl? I can't see her face. Positive. I smell her pheromones and she is female. I also note that she tries to use some kind of male perfume, so I guess she is used to hide her gender, or really likes man's cologne. Okay, what about her chakra? It feels cold. Really? Maybe they are from that old clan, the Hyutans. They had the bloodline that gave them the combination of wind and water elements. Ice. They specialize in chakra control and are usually very professional in what they do. A shame that the bloodline purges in Hidden Mist Village almost killed them all. Naruto nodded at that. Kyuubi had told him about the bloodline purges and he trembled at the thought. Sure, he didn't like some clans because of their arrogance, but that didn't mean he wanted to destroy every last one of them. I think it high time I get a talk with this one. Getting a phantom nod from Kyuubi, he made the signal for the genjutsu to end and said in a jovial voice. Do you need help, Hunter Nin-san? Haku had been so entranced and focused on the match, she jumped out of her skin when she heard someone talk behind her. She looked into her shock, it was the kid that had put up a decent fight with Zabuza. I'm here to apprehend Zabuza Mamachi. He is a missing nin of Hidden Mist Village and must be eliminated. Naruto nodded. But then, why don't you join the fight? I would rather not, as it seems that those jounin are doing my job for myself. I will just attack when I see an opportunity. And what are you going to do with the body? Asked Naruto as, unknown to Haku, Viper had summoned a lot of her clan with a silent chant. I will bring the body back to the village. Said Haku, not knowing that she had just given herself away. Naruto smiled, then he yelled now. And Haku found herself bounded by an indeterminate number of serpents. What are you doing? I told you the truth. No, you didn't. Said Naruto in a voice that frightened Haku. If you were a true hunter nin, you would have said I will cut the head and destroy the rest of the body. The head I will use as proof that I killed him. Haku gritted her teeth. He was right, she did an obvious mistake. But that was not the worst. The worst was seeing the look on his face. The look of someone that is disappointed. A look she always hated in Zabuza's face, and now she was getting it from this strange kid. Naruto then turned to look to the battlefield. You care about him, don't you? Haku looked at Naruto questionably. Naruto turned to her and said Zabuza you care about him, don't you? Haku then looked down. Then she looked at Naruto again. Do you have people you want to protect? People you would give your life to? Yeah, so? Said Naruto. I believe that one can become truly strong if he has a precious person to defend. I have seen the effects as I served Zabuza-sama. He has been the only person to never look at me with disgust or rejection. Naruto then looked at her. You are from Mist, are you not? You must have a bloodline then, if they hated you. Haku looked at Naruto in shock. How does he know about that? It's supposed to be a secret. Tell you what, I have a deal. First you are going to give me your name. Then I am going to let you go and get Zabuza when you see the opportunity. When he is better, come meet me and my sensei in the forest, near the bridge. We have an offer for the two of you. Haku was shocked. He was going to let her leave. Why? Naruto looked at her because I know your pain. I know the pain of rejection and the pain of being seen as a monster. I too found people who saved me from that and those are my precious people. So I would like to give you guys a chance. Besides, it would be a shame if the great demon of the mist died here at the hands of Kakashi of all people. Haku looked at him, seeing no traces of deceit or treachery in his face. She then nodded. My name is Haku. I will have to talk with Zabuza about this. We will meet you in 5 days. Enough time to get Zabuza back in shape. Naruto nodded. Mine is Naruto Uzumaki. Now come on, let's watch the match. I myself find it very enjoyable to see that prick flying through the place getting his ass kicked. Haku watched as the serpent started to puff and smoke, leaving her free again. She then noticed two animals, a fox and a serpent, sitting besides Naruto. She decided to watch. No harm could come from it, right? Besides, he was right. It was fun to see the kid getting the shit beaten out of him. But Sasuke was bleeding. He had been beaten up so badly he almost didn't know his name. It was best he had forgotten because he may have ran away from Zabuza and back to the bridge builder. Instead, he was getting a beating. How can this be? I am an Uchiha. How can I be beaten that easy? You are disappointing, kid. For all your bragging, you are weak. Maybe I should try to look for that other kid. He has proven to be a very interesting challenge to me. Sasuke seethed again. Why is the dope stronger than me? If I survive this, I will demand he teaches me everything he knows. So, it is over kid. Said Zabuza when he swung his sword down. Kakashi appeared in the last second and stopped the blade with a kunai. What the fuck? Zabuza had forgotten about Kakashi and Anko. He jumped away, landing in the middle of the lake and standing there. But then a question popped up in his head. Why didn't you act before? Because Anko wouldn't let me. Said an angry Kakashi as he glared daggers at said woman who was on the floor with a cup of popcorn that no one could tell where it had come from. Hey, it was fun to see your little prick being useless. Said Anko, making Kakashi sweat drop as she put the package away. It sure was. Said Zabuza chuckling as he looked at Anko. I like this woman already. Say, do you have a boyfriend? No. I have the hottest MILF girlfriend ever, though. Said Anko in an honest voice. Kakashi flew back with a nosebleed while Zabuza cursed after he got a minor nosebleed. Fuck. It is always the best women that are lesbian. Who said anything about lesbians? I myself am bisexual and Maiko had a husband once. No lesbians in there. Said Anko, enjoying the expression on Zabuza's face. Even with part of it covered, it was still easy to see his expressions. That is fucking hot. said Zabuza as Kakashi started to get up again. I wish I could join. Oh well, the curse of being a missing nin, I guess. Kakashi looked at Zabuza and Anko and was not believing his eyes. They were talking like they were the best of friends. Kakashi, however, decided to end the charade. Thunder style. Arch lightning. Zabuza had to jump away to avoid the lightning. Trying to use water wall would be a repetition of his mistake, and he never did that. He looked at Kakashi. Can't you see we are having a conversation, man? Or were you too embarrassed to hear anymore? Don't go down that road, the guy is a fucking pervert who reads his icha books all the time. Though I never saw him with a girl, to be honest. Said Anko as she looked at Kakashi. But maybe that is it, maybe he is just a poor virgin and doesn't like to hear others talking about a thing he never experienced and can only read about. It is sad. Mocked Zabuza. Kakashi gritted his teeth. He was furious because Zabuza was right, he was just a virgin that never had more than icha and his hand to comfort him. It is really sad. But the fact that someone like Zabuza would point it out made him furious. I'll show you. He yelled as he ran towards Zabuza. How foolish to try to face a master in water-style jutsus in the middle of the lake. Even if one would forget that, just the feeling of the water should have alerted him. Guess not. Water style. Water prison jutsu. Yelled Zabuza as he trapped Kakashi on a bubble. Gotha you. He then turned to Anko. Now give me the bridge builder or I kill him. You can kill him. Said Anko as she looked at her nails. It's not like anyone except the council will miss him and they only won because he is the only one that can teach the kid you beat the crap out of how to use the Sharingan. In fact, there are a bunch of people that would be happy with you killing him. Shut up, Anko. Yelled an infuriated Kakashi. Just get me out of here would you? But Naruto, that is one way to put a Cyclops in his place, isn't it? Commented Naruto as he watched the show. It is confusing that that woman would treat her fellow Joun in that way. Why does she? Asked Haku. Haku, there is a difference between a normal partner and an unwanted partner. You may get along with the first one, but not the second one. This guy is a total ass and always goes around like he is the greatest. He even gets late to calls from the Hokage. How much of a dickhead must you be to do that? Not only that. Said Viper he always chants about teamwork, but he goes around with an eye he stole from a fallen comrade, Obito Uchiha, and a dog summoning contract that belonged to another one, Rin Inuzuka. Some even say that, well the first one was unintentional and an accident, the second one was on purpose. He is a monster that only thinks about himself. And add to that said Hikari. To the fact that he parades around reading a pornographic book without a worry in the world, is always flirting with Anko, even though she doesn't flirt back, and tried to get a look of Maiko naked with his Sharingan. He is a total disgrace. Haku looked confused. Who is Maiko? My mom. Said Naruto happily. The best mom in the world, she adopted me and my life has been the best. She worries about me, checks on me, teaches me what I need to know, whether practical or theoretical and? Asked Haku. She knows all about the security of various clans and village. With her knowledge I became the fear of ninja of all ranks as my pranks hits every levels. Shouted Naruto, not loud enough to be heard by the group fighting, but still high. Haku sweat dropped at this and they kept watching the match. In the fight, just get me out of here, Anko. Yelled Kakashi. Man, he is a pain in the ass. Alright, Kakashi I will save your worthless ass. Said Anko as she readied herself. She then threw several kunes. Shadow kunai clone jutsu. The air was filled with kunes as they flew towards Zabuza. His eyes widened and he released Kakashi as he grabbed his sword and used it to defend himself from the many kunes. Unfortunately, Kakashi wasn't hit either as he fell through the water, too shocked by her tactic to even move. Now that is one nasty technique. But you will have to do better. Said Zabuza as he prepared himself to fight again. Kakashi submerged and started shouting as he got up. What the fuck is wrong with you? You could have killed me. Look at my face, do I look like I care about your life or lack of it? Said Anko in a bored voice. Besides, I did what you wanted. I freed you from that bubble didn't I? Just be grateful you are alive. Kakashi glared at her as she started running towards Zabuza and engaged him in battle. She sent a fist to his face which he dodged, and when he tried to slice her with his sword, she bended herself, showing her impressive flexibility, making her hands touch the ground as the sword passed over her belly. She then kicked him in the shin, got back up and did a spin kick. Zabuza caught the offending foot and threw her away. He then ran towards her only for Kakashi to appear in front with a kunai. You again? Don't you learn? You cannot defeat me. Completed Kakashi making Zabuza's eyes narrow. Zabuza started doing hand signs and Kakashi did the same at the exactly same time. They both shouted water style. Water dragon jutsu. And two giant water dragon appeared out of the lake and hit each other, both bursting into a rain that fell over the two shinobis. What the hell? Thought Zabuza. How is he doing this? Completed Kakashi. Zabuza's eyes widened. Can he read minds? Completed Kakashi. Zabuza and Kakashi then said something at the same time. You will not trick me, you stupid copy monkey. Then Zabuza decided to play a prank. You know, I'm gay. Said Kakashi, only for his eyes to widen. What? Gotcha you? Chuckled Zabuza. Kakashi seethed. Is everybody going to mock me? I'm getting fed up with it. Look on the bright side, Kakashi. You always wanted my attention and now you have it, even if it means dying of embarrassment. Said Anko in a goofy tone. Zabuza laughed at the joke, then decided to get serious. He was doing the hand signs for his most devastating water jutsu when he saw Kakashi doing them. What made him gasp was that behind Kakashi stood a figure. Is that me? Water style. Giant vortex jutsu. Yelled Kakashi. Poor Zabuza never got the chance as he was thrown away by the vortex. But Naruto. Oh. I think that is my cue. Said Haku. Very well. Remember, 5 days, near the bridge, by afternoon. Said Naruto. Why afternoon? Asked Haku, surprised. Because in the morning I have physical training. In the afternoon, however, is supposed to be Jinjutsu and other theoretical stuff I need to know, so no harm done skipping one. Said Naruto, in a childish voice. Haku looked at him. A moment ago he acted like a professional ninja, and now he behaves like a kid. You are an enigma, Naruto. With that she jumped to do her job. With the group, as Zabuza hit the tree, he looked up. Can you see the future? Yes, said Kakashi as he prepared himself. Your future is death. Before he could do anything, a couple of needles hit Zabuza in the neck. He fell with a thud in the floor. Anko looked to see a missed hunter nin. Shouldn't have Naruto taken care of this guy. Thank you, I have been looking for him. I shall now eliminate the body. You have my thanks. And with that, the hunter nin and Zabuza disappeared. Naruto appeared a second later. Naruto, what took you so long? Asked Anko. Sensei, I need to talk to you later. Said Naruto. Anko left it at that. If the kid was this serious, then she would respect him. In that moment, Kakashi fell from chakra exhaustion. And he calls himself ex-Anbu captain. Most people would think he was fired because of lack of quality. She then turned to Sakura. Hey, Banshee, you take Imoge. Sai, you and Naruto will take Kakashi. Let's move out, we still need to reach for Tizuna's house. What if Naruto has Fox and Serpent summoning contract? Thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.